Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somehow, some way, we've made it to 15 episodes, and this is the 16th, guys. I don't know fucking how we keep doing this. Maybe because I got some awesome friends, because, you know, if I was sitting here talking to the camera, you guys wouldn't hear. Nobody would pay attention to that. But because I've got some awesome guests and some awesome people, the Young Blood Podcast has been going strong and will continue to do so. So thanks for checking in, guys. We're going to start out real quick with a quick message from Treasure Valley Barber Co. Treasure Valley Barber Co. is a veteran-owned company out here in Boise, technically Garden City, but out here in Boise, it's a phenomenal fucking place, man. You walk in the door, Nick will take good care of you every time. His prices aren't cheap, but they're worth it. You get quality, not quantity there, guys. So do me a favor, go check them out. They're open again. They are taking clients now. Back when we used to talk about them, they were completely closed to the public, not doing any business whatsoever. So now that they're open, fucking fuck the hoodie. Get a haircut, guys. Get a haircut. We got a great, phenomenal fucking guest for you guys. I've been trying to get him on since I started this, and this was 3 months ago now that I've tried to start this or so. So it's a pleasure, it's an honor to introduce Jared Kisling into the fucking podcast. How you doing today, Jared?
I am actually doing really great, man. Like, despite everything going on right now, I am doing pretty great.
I'll tell you what, I never slowed down. I slowed down for the first month of the COVID. That was more because of my back, not because of work. And now that I'm back to work, I am so fucking busy with tile shit that I can't even barely do this podcast.
See, for me, I did have a month of relaxing, kind of just getting in the groove of things. Like, this is my new life now, during the whole quarantine. Took some time off to really focus on some things that were bothering me, things that were I just need to deal with some stuff, as all vets do. I'm a veteran.
Right. So you're a veteran, but take a second to introduce yourself, Jared. What do you do? Who are you?
I am the bottle service manager at Strangelove Nightclub in downtown Boise on 6th and Main.
Right on. What does that entail?
I basically create the party, generally speaking, right? I take the party to the next level. So if you were going out with a group, right? I make sure that you guys are taken care of. You have your own table. We get you liquor side, table side service. We're making drinks at your table.
Right.
You've been a customer of mine a few times. Had a great time.
Probably remember it. Few times. A lot more than a few times.
No, it's actually really fun. I mean, you meet a lot of VIP clients. You're taking care. You're the kind of liaison, right? You're a VIP liaison. You recognize the people that come into your club that are going to consistently be your best customers, right?
Right.
I am the guy that takes care of them. They say, hey man, I want a parking spot up front. My happy ass is standing out there with a cone, holding down a spot for them to pull up in the car so they look
essentially
cool, right?
You're the concierge of everything.
I'm the concierge of the VIP in Boise, yes.
I mean, I don't think we have a concierge for the non-VIP.
Yeah, well, they don't really need one.
Exactly.
Right? If you're going to make it in Boise.
But one thing I can say that Strangelove did, I don't know if a lot of people have been there since the remodel, but a cool fucking move that they made was the entire downstairs was upgraded to be used as bottle service as well. And when I used to go to Strangelove, I actually used to bartend there in the VIP. We only had tables exclusive to the VIP room.
I have 12 tables now.
How many did you have before?
Before it was only about 6.
So you doubled. You doubled
yeah.
your tables.
Yeah.
So guys, Strangelove Nightclub. It's fucking awesome. I again, not just because I used to work there, I still drink there regularly.
I would say the biggest highlight of Strangelove Nightclub is probably the girls' bathroom bar. They put a lot of work into that.
I don't think I've seen it since the upgrade.
They have makeup mirrors.
Obviously.
Makeup mirrors with the the ring lights basically.
Right.
We have a bartender in the bathroom. It's
bartender in the bathroom. I bet COVID really fucked that up.
Yeah, well, COVID, speaking of COVID, it fucked a lot of things up for us, Casey, we currently are not open.
So this podcast, we're going to get into this pretty heavily today. I know I tried to veer away from making this a COVID-19 podcast, making this about COVID because, it was cool for a week. It was nice to be involved. It was nice to maybe do my part in journaling. And if you do fucking find any interest in that, I do have a series on my YouTube. It's series 1 of this podcast. And it's really fucking boring and terribly made.
Wasn't I on that one?
You were on that one. And all of my guests were over the phone.
Yeah.
All my guests were over the phone, and that's what made things kind of, awkward. It's a podcast. Don't get me wrong. I had Blaze on here the other day, and Blaze lives in California. But I had Blaze in here on the phone. Excuse me. On the phone, and I had Rondell on the show. So I had Blaze, and all of us were putting in topics and talking, and it went really well for having somebody on the phone and having somebody live in person. And it was kind of an interesting new thing. And now I have the capabilities of having up to 4 or 5 people on the show at a time.
It's awesome.
Huge. Coming from
nothing to here, right? Like,
my parents' attic to fucking...
I'm glad to be on the full production now. This seems awesome, man.
Hey, I'm also glad that you held out.
Me too, in a way. Like, in a way, I finally get to be a part of the bigger picture, right?
Clay said the same thing, like, because I tried to get him on to do, like, phone ones and whatnot and all the bullshit. And Clay, I don't know if
you're not from Idaho, you don't know who Clay is. But if you are from Idaho, you probably likely know who Clay is.
And if you want to know who Clay is, check out episode fucking 14 of the Young Blood podcast. There's a great story of him losing an MMA fight in the most epic fucking way, and he tells it like a goddamn boss. He's been on many podcasts before. He was offered a place on NBC's a show on NBC before COVID hit because of a podcast he was on. Yeah, so Clay doesn't just see this podcast. He sees this. He sees this huge fucking thing that this could be.
Right. Well, it's an industry. It definitely is, and it's become more prevalent, right? Like, as I get older, I listen to more podcasts.
Right. And that's definitely something with age, man. I didn't listen to...
Yeah.
Whenever I talk to my younger demographic, like the fucking 18-year-old kids, like, oh, I run a podcast. They're like, why? And I'm like, because I like to talk to people. And this is a conversation that I'm going to have with somebody in front of me personally, that phones aren't involved. We're not sitting there checking our Facebook every 5 fucking minutes. We're having an educated conversation. And not only is it educated, the shit that we say is being documented and other people are listening to it. So you don't just talk to talk. You talk to be heard.
And we're having fun while we're doing it.
And we drink like a motherfucker. We drink like... Salute, my man. What are you drinking over there?
I am drinking a Deschutes Neon Daydream Hazy Ale.
So fucking good.
Funny story, actually, real quick before we get too into the COVID stuff. I was doing the Blaze podcast with Rondell, and we were watching the podcast in post-production, and... Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. And...
Too much vodka.
I took one shot, and it fucked me before these. I was watching the post-production with Rondell, bro, and... You see Rondell, because Blaze was talking, but like it's kind of hard to pay attention to somebody when they're on a tangent and they're on the phone. They're not in person with you, right. And unfortunately enough as it is to say, it's the truth. We were both kind of veering,
like animated people, right?
Yeah, we were veering away from the conversation as Blaze was talking, and like I wasn't doing it on purpose, but I like looked at Rondell and was like, hey, you want a beer? And I got up and grabbed him a beer, but we went back and looked in the video, and it's so funny because you just see like you see me just totally like. Done. Completely over it. And then I switch the cameras and look at Rondell and I'm like, yo, you want a beer? And he's like, yeah, dude. And we noticed in the post-production just how like different it is to watch like what we're doing in the show, and just to see all these crazy things and things that go into this. Like I had you come in today an hour before we started, like I have everybody else come in, just to figure out how you sounded in the mic, how you felt comfortable sitting in the chair, how you looked on the camera and the light. Like it's different for every show that I've done.
I feel like that's a process you learn along the way, though, right? Like you have definitely grown as a podcaster.
Oh, fuck, man. I 100% from the first episode to the now. If you count the 2 seasons, this is almost the 30th episode. If you count the shows I haven't posted, this is the 40th. Like I've put some hours, I've put some time, and the growth from the first to that episode is exponential.
That's awesome, man. I'm really happy for you. Like I wanted to be on this for a while. Our schedules really didn't match up.
I mean, talking into a phone and coming in, putting some headphones on.
It's a lot different. It's a different animal for sure.
Oh, bro, is it nerve-wracking?
No. I actually I started out not to get too much into my history, but I've definitely worked in radio before, so I've been on air.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I actually went to Gem State Academy in Caldwell and worked for a KTSY Christian radio station, and I've been
Christian radio station, right on.
Yeah.
We did a lot of. We actually in the last with Anna, we did a lot of Bible talk in the last show.
Yeah.
Not the last show, but 2 shows ago. Check that out. She throws some really good scripture suggestions in there. She's got a really good online pastor that she talks about on there, and all kinds of fun stuff. What did you do there? Like,
I was a production assistant, so I would load new songs in. I would load. There's like those like stories on there, like Adventures in Storytime or whatever, and then Odyssey. I would load those in. I would listen. I'd make sure that they sounded good across the board. I would load those in because we'd get them right in like CD form. This is before digital age now that we live in.
And this isn't even that long ago, which is a crazy thing. How far it's came now.
I was in high school at like early 2000s.
You are 5 years older than I am. You are 30 years old.
30
I am
years
25. I am probably the youngest podcaster in Boise. That actually.
You're probably one of the only podcasters.
There's really not a lot. That's the thing. Like, it's not something that I'm doing. Like, I'm not doing this podcast to make money. I'm not doing this for publicity. I'm doing this because like I am very passionate about podcasts because I listen to them and they've changed my life. And then I started one.
It seems like it's been a therapeutic outlet for you too. In a way.
Oh God, yeah. It's something that for me, like I'm a sociable person, and I struggled heavily not being able to be social during the COVID outbreak. Like that shit was stupid to me. I was like, fuck, dude. Like I'm sitting in a room right now, and like my personality revolves around going out, meeting
being
people,
social,
networking.
Yes.
And my business also revolves around networking. I make probably fucking 5 new clients every month just based on me going downtown because I bring a stack of business cards and I talk to people. And what I've learned right now is there is a heavy lack of tile installers in the valley. Heavy lack.
Not to mention a heavy lack of honest tile installers. I've heard some horror stories, right? Like we all have. Anyone that's worked with general contractor before, there's always those horror stories.
Right.
So I feel like for you to be a good guy and being able to get like that much business and that talented, it's like it's a good market for you.
Right. And well, I told a guy today, he calls me and he's like, well, can you send me some references? And it was for a really reputable job. Like he called me as the only sole fucking tile guy on it and was like, hey dude, I got an entire remodel that I need done. So it's probably like a $10,000 tile job. And he's like, well, I want to go with you. You were a referral from so-and-so. And he was sold. He was completely like, I'll send you the numbers, get me a bid, yes, this, that, and another. But do you have references and do you have a portfolio you can send me? And I was like, fuck yeah, I do. Also, go check out facebook.com CMY Pro Construction. And I got almost 200 likes and 5 stars. So, I mean,
5 stars, that's pretty it's pretty reputable there.
That is, yeah, I have never had a bad fucking anything with my business. And I don't. This is one of the Kateri. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Your dad likes me.
We have some parties going on in the studio today, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, we have Kateri in the background playing with Gatsby right now.
For those of you who don't know, that's our producer.
Yeah, this is the video production
This is Camden
manager
over here on the mic over here.
producer. Camden motherfucking Sutton, the man behind the
He
sound,
keeps us
but not
sounding
behind the
good,
camera.
I'll keep giving little snippets here and there, but
This is the first time I got him a mic. He was really upset.
I'm very happy with this mic.
I mean, it's hard to be the producer and not be able to hear and contribute. Kateri, please. Thank you. But anyways, as we were talking about, back to where we were, the podcast has grown and it will continue to do so. And to the 2 listeners who are here checking out this show, Hayden Midkiff.
The 2 listeners.
The 2 listeners that check out the show. I do have like fucking almost 30 subscribers on YouTube. Oh my God. To the 2 listeners, thank you guys. Check back in. Keep doing what you're doing. I see you guys on my host site. I see you guys. I see your views. I see your downloads. It's there. Like, it's growing. And it really...
Please like, subscribe, and share.
Hey, everybody. Youngblood Podcast. All one word. YOUNGBLOOD Podcast. Like I said, all one word. You won't find it otherwise, so please search it right. Anyways, Jared, let's get into some of this fucking COVID shit, man. All right. It's one of those things, and hey, Cam, can you do me a favor and check if the computer's on game mode? Do you know how to do that? Okay, never mind. Sorry, my CPU's at like 67%, so I feel like it might have game mode on.
It's all right. So where do you want to start with this, man?
Actually, why don't you open
Should I give a history of the bar closure?
Yes, give a history of the bar closure, and then we're going to play Ted's video.
Okay, so Ted, for those of you who don't know, Ted Challenger is a very well-known bar owner downtown Boise. He owns Amsterdam Lounge, Dirty Little Roddy's, and Strange Love Nightclub, where I am employed. The closures, they started March 19th. We were told by the mayor to actually shut down. So that March 19th or March 17th is actually the last day I worked, which was St. Patty's Day.
Along with everybody else.
Along with everyone else, right. It was tough, man. Like, this has been my life for the last 5 years. Just doing everything bar, restaurant, like, you know, I wanted to learn it all. Something I can, like, I'm passionate about, something I can
and you are
grow in.
You're very
right?
passionate about your craft.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
We've worked together a few times.
Kai 75 Street Tacos. They got the best tacos in town. Check them out. I'm just gonna go talk some shit, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm a better person.
Off podcast, we'll talk about some things I just recently found out. Anyways, so yeah, it was tough for the entire industry, right? Like, so we closed
March 19th.
March 19th,
June,
and we were allowed to open again May 30th, right? Like, as far as bars, we as a bar, at Amsterdam at least, we have a contract with Brickyard and the Reef. So we get food delivered. So we were going to try and open a little early.
Which is fair. You guys serve food. You were a
serve
restaurant.
Food, right. Well, come to find out, to be a restaurant, you have to, I think it's somewhere around 70% of your actual profits have to be food.
Oh, shit.
So
that's a lot.
That's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
So you're 70%
like
of your
profits or 70% of your fucking expenses?
No, like your profit.
Actual profit.
Your
Holy
actual
shit.
income has to be from food, yeah. So
I did not know that.
So that kind of.
I guess Ted didn't know.
Well, right. We got thrown into. We didn't get really in trouble. We just got a warning, right? Like, they're like, hey, you know, you're operating out of bounds.
No fines, as I was told. No fines.
No.
Which is, I mean, honestly, like, I was talking about this with a couple of Drew, a couple ex-employees of Ted, and like, I had to commend Ted for it because I was like, you know what, dude? Like, there's two things I do have to say about what Ted's doing. What he did when he opened back up a little early, he bent the rules a little bit, but, you know, he really wasn't bending any rules. He was pushing, be like, hey, can I get away with being open? And they told him not to, and he was like, yes, sorry.
Cool, we'll close down.
Yeah, my bad. You know, I tried. Fuck me for trying to fucking be in business.
Trying
to make
at
a
least
living.
some income within a fiscal quarter, right?
Yeah.
Think about it. At this point, like, May 30th, that's 3 months, just about,
That's
right?
a fucking long time, man.
That's a long time.
Motherfucker makes $10,000 at or at fucking Roddy's profit, you know, on one night on a Friday night, you know.
More than that. Yeah.
On an average.
On average, right. Like,
Maybe.
So,
and that's one bar out of three, guys.
so
one bar that he owns out of three.
Yeah, we're only open 10 hours a week. Like, Roddy's is open a little bit longer because they have out Thursdays. But like Strange Love is open 10 hours a week. That's the only time we make money is 10 hours a week. And so for us to not make money for almost a whole fiscal quarter, right? Like, that's cutting us deep.
That's business killing.
Right.
That is.
And there's been several businesses that are not going to come back from this, right? Like,
Hey Penny.
Yeah, well.
Hey Penny, no, it shut down.
Yeah, no, I know. He just gave up.
He kept his sushi bar open, and I was really fucking bummed about it because I went in the other day to get sushi there, and it was really stupid because it was 8:40, and the girl told me they close at 9 and they can't serve me, and I'm like, you haven't been open for 2 months, and you're gonna turn away a 10 top right now or an 8 top right now, like.
Well, from my understanding, the owner is he cares more about Bodavino, right? Like, that's.
He does, but he also has been investing in Happy Fish. I went in and talked to her about this. She was like, so we're closing down Hey Penny. The silent investors are done. They're all over it. And I used to be the bar manager at Hey Penny. So like I care. You know, I was like, fuck, dude, I love Hey Penny. That's an Irish pub. That place is fucking
so much
awesome.
blood, sweat, and tears there, man.
Holy shit, man. That place is a fucking radical bar. And it's got a lot of roots. in this town. It's been around for a long time. It throws the biggest
St. Patty's Day.
Exactly.
Like,
it throws the biggest St. Patty's Day bash you'll ever fucking see, and they canceled it this year. They make more money at St. Patty's Day than they almost do the whole year.
That was the last night that I worked with St. Patty's Day at Roddy's.
Yeah, they closed this year for St. Patty's Day.
So it was already done before.
It was done. Okay, Dan is an awesome human. So I can 100% see him abiding by CDC suggestions and saying if they say to fucking close, I'm going to fucking close because he cares about his business. He cares about being open. He cares about Bodovino. Cares about all of it. So I really commend him for that. But like on a personal note, it saddens me to see them shut down because there is a lot of roots in the town. And it's the only Irish pub downtown that actually brings in people from Ireland.
Not
people
to
fly
mention,
in.
like,
People fly in.
Actual Irish food. Like
Actual like what's the word I'm looking for? Genuine Irish food. Fucking like lamb chop, bro. Fucking cabbage, haggis, dude. They had the full menu.
Haggis,
They put so
boys.
much work into that. And so I went in and I was like 10 minutes after 9:30, you know, and I get it. All of them were closing at like 10, you know, but it was also a Friday, Saturday night. Like it wasn't a weekday. Granted, we're still going through the phases of reopening and whatnot, you know, and I just have to talk some mad shit on the girl who was fucking working at the sushi spot. And I'm like, bro, your boss is about to shut the fuck down and you can't stay for one more fucking table. Like you don't close for 25, 30 minutes. Nobody was even in there.
orders and we were together at Kai 75 till last minute.
Yeah,
hey,
like nobody was even in there. Granted, the sushi chef has to shut down, but I worked at that sushi place, so I know he has to shut down 15 minutes before close. I would turn people away 10 minutes before close.
Yeah.
10 minutes, I can't do it. But you were about to have a $200 to $400 table plus tip. Like that place is expensive, and there were 6 of us all buying. Like at the fucking, we went to Happy Fins instead. And we ended up spending fucking each of us like $80.
Yeah.
On just our own tabs. So I was like, dude, you fucking idiot, dude. Like, your boss, if he would have known you did that, would not have been very happy with you.
No, trust me, I've worked for many different restaurants around there.
Anybody who's like, you turned around $400 almost, like on a single tab, like on a Friday night.
It was a Friday night.
It was a Saturday night.
Oh.
It was a Saturday
That's
fucking night.
That's when you make your most money, right?
Yeah, and like I know the girl who was bartending, and I love the girl. She's an awesome chick, but I looked at her and I was like, you obviously don't own a business. You know, and I get it. She wanted to go home. I'm like, but think about it this way, chick. You've been on unemployment for 3 months. Why do you want to go home so bad?
Right.
And that's also something I kind of want to talk about real quick. There was a heavy fucking hit in the workforce from this because of the unemployment. People who got unemployment did not want to go back to work. I can't find an apprentice to save my life.
That's because people are making upwards of $1,000 a week right now.
Not doing shit.
Not doing anything.
At all.
And they, from the sounds of it, they recently extended the unemployment benefits through 2021, right? Like, so
they should just extend the tax deadline instead of the fucking.
Well,
I don't want to go back to work.
Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, like, I don't know if I'm going to have to go back on. We'll get into that, but obviously, like, I don't know if I'll have to go back on to unemployment or not because we're at a very volatile spot in the industry, right? Like, and of course, we'll get into all that, but it's crazy where we're going right now.
I heard you mumbling a little bit earlier about the possibility of them shutting us back down. On a scale of, on a percentage rate, what do you think the percentage chance of that actually happening?
I would say 60-70% chance because, I mean, this
Camden, you're nodding over there. Camden works at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, guys. He's a server at Ruth Chris. He's been there for years.
Yeah, no, the first week that we got open, we had a 50-person spike in the number of COVID cases that we had here in Idaho. So if that keeps going up, there's going to be another quarantine. There's going to be another shutdown.
There was recently an article.
We are pretty Republican, though.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
You know,
but that doesn't affect the virus.
It does.
But our mayor is not, right? Our mayor is Democrat.
Is that so?
Yeah, so.
Educate me, motherfucker.
Well, Mayor McLean actually did serve under our previous mayor for a while. But I'm pretty sure that they're not their agenda, right? Like that's not like I'm trying to get insane. Like they're trying to force us to not work or whatever.
Right.
But we do have a pretty red state, right?
Right.
But Boise, for the most part, is fairly blue. So and
Boise,
if you've seen it with the
red state, blue.
recent
blue
protests,
capital,
recent everything that's been going on. I think that this article that the Central District Health put out, well, they've been investigating, right, about the bars. Even look today, Bitter Creek Ale House is going to be shutting down for the foreseeable future. They just put out an article today that they are investigating whether their employees are sick. They're going to test everyone. They've had
Like you guys did at Amsterdam.
Like we did in Amsterdam. We heard we were a hot spot. We shut down. We're getting everyone tested. Our owner's paying for it, which is super awesome. I think that's like so responsible of an owner.
That's another. Remember how I said there was 2 money moves that Ted is making right now that I have to commend. The first one was trying to open when he could. And the second one is staying closed right now. He is the only bar out of all of the bars that were on that article that actually shut down.
Correct.
And Ted is a business owner. Ted, I'm not going to necessarily say he's the most caring person when it comes down to everybody that as a company, but he is a smart motherfucker. Like that guy is a business owner, and he knows what's going to make him money and what's going to make him look good.
I mean,
and
he's
what's
been in
going
the
to
bar
benefit
industry
him.
for 30 years,
he
right?
knows what's going to benefit him in the future. And right now, he's got enough rap to where it's like he doesn't need any more.
Right.
You know, and for him to do this, it's a money move. He's thinking ahead. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I can make fucking this much money in these couple weeks of staying open, but I'm going to be the only bar that stayed closed.
Right. Well, and it's honestly at this point responsible, right? Like
It is.
I'm not blaming the bars. I'm not blaming the Central District Health. I'm at the point where we just need to be responsible as humans, right? Like it's a very very scary time for a lot of people, and you talked about Anna Way earlier, and Anna and I have been friends for a long time.
Right.
I grew up with her. She's honestly like kind of terrified to go out. Like I'm sure she's mentioned that.
She was last night. She
Yeah.
wouldn't even. And anybody who doesn't know Anna Wait, she's been on the podcast. She was on the last 2 episodes ago, and the 3rd episode. She's a phenomenal woman and a fucking badass. One of our best friends. Also, one of the biggest outgoing, personable people you'll ever meet. We were at the bar last night, just like grabbing a. I believe we weren't there to drink. Not very much late night food was open, and I was just trying to get some fucking food. So we went to Mulligan's.
Yeah,
we went to Mulligan's
yeah.
because they got a fire fucking kitchen.
So I went out. I made a mistake, and I went out last night a little late, expecting to get food too, and everything shut down about 9:30. Right? Like Reef. We're talking Matador, Juniper.
I think we both went out the same time last night.
Yeah,
we both decided to go out at 9 o'clock to get food.
To get
and then
food,
got there by 9:30.
We're used to eating later times because of our time in the industry,
and
right?
because we're used to being able to take out, or we're used to our only option being takeout, where we can order until fucking like midnight, being in COVID and shit. All the people who didn't have takeout before all have a good takeout and curbside selection now. So like we're kind of used to that, and it was later, but now things that are opening back up for dine-in are closing their dine-ins a lot earlier.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of making it hard to adjust.
It is. It's a very weird adjustment period because normally, before this COVID, right, we can go out 1 a.m. and still grab some food somewhere, right? Like we can go to Eureka, we can go to a few other places downtown.
Juniper open till midnight.
Yeah.
You know,
we can grab
Matador
food late
midnight.
night, and that's the kind of time when we eat. Being in the service industry, we're get ready. Most of the day we're spending like running errands, getting stuff done.
Or even being a fucking construction contractor where you don't get home until 8 o'clock at night, and you walk in your door and like, fuck, I'm so hungry and I don't have food.
But all you want to do first is shower, get ready, go out, right? Like you spend some time. So by the time you get out, it's 9, 10 o'clock, and you're like, okay, I can still grab food, right? Because that's in our mindset, right? We were used to that. Now we showed up at 9:20, and they're like, our kitchen closes in 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy.
Right.
I've worked
10 minutes. Okay, I will be that guy if it's more than 20 or less than 20. Like if it's like if I'm there between a half an hour and 20 minutes before close, and I know I'm just there to get a quick drink and a bite, I don't give a fuck. But I've been in the service industry long enough to where I'm like,
like 10 minutes before close, that's like a...
That's a dick fucking move.
That's
But,
a
you know, if I'm there and I know they close at 10 and I know they have a close to do, I'm not going to order more drinks. I'm not going to do more shit. I'm not going to order more food. I'm going to order my shit, close my tab, finish my meal. And the second I see that, like, either they're waiting on me or that I'm hindering their process of closing, I'm going to get the fuck out.
Right.
But I know that. I can see that.
Right, because you've been on both sides.
Not everybody can see that. So I don't feel as bad, but... I mean, I walked into Bitter Creek and it was 9:31, and they're like, "I'm sorry, we're done seating for the night." And I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
And then they closed today, like wild, right? Like,
wow.
Today is when they announced that they're going to.
So there's Bartender, Bitter Creek. Remind me. So which one's over in the basket block?
The basket block, you're gonna have Bartender.
Bartender. Okay, so Bitter Creek.
Bitter Creek is on 8th Street.
Yeah, and
right next to
so
Red Feather.
they shut down today, huh?
They shut down today. They put out an article saying they're gonna test all their employees. They're gonna kind of do some investigation on their own. They were named recently in another Central District Health article that named Matador, Red Feather, and then a few places in Meridian. So they're obviously investigating. They're trying to track the.
I'm really glad you're on because I haven't been tracking COVID as I was.
Right.
And clearly you have. So you're educating me as well as some of the people that are probably listening. Like,
It's been kind of like information. I follow a lot of bartender groups here in Idaho, as you do, but I'm sure you've been really busy during the day and you can't keep up to
as
date
a customer, bro, I would have went out tonight trying to go get food, not knowing that they were closed.
Right.
You know, so now this is educating me and the two other guys. That
It was
listen to the
like
show.
a Facebook article, and you know, that does take a little bit of time to circulate. So. Yeah, as of today,
It was a
closed.
Facebook article.
Well, so they did a Facebook post, and then I think the Idaho Statesman picked up an article saying they're going to close. Too.
Okay. Fuck.
Yeah.
I do not want to hit another round of quarantine.
I mean, that's...
Did you know we had a
that's the
quarter of a
first one.
million people move here during quarantine?
That's insane.
We had a 250,000 people move here during quarantine because California shut down. So we already had a lot of Californians on the way up here. They shut down. Where do you think they went? Oh, Camden's got something to say about that.
You know, that actually makes sense because during the first times that we were open over at Ruth's Chris, we had
a surge of Californians.
I had a surge of Californians.
And Ruth Chris is a chain. They got Ruth Chris.
They got
in
a
California.
chain.
They got
yeah.
everywhere. So if you go, the reason why Ruth Chris is such a successful steakhouse is because the woman who bought it, she changed the name because the guy was like, "Well, if you're gonna buy my business, you have to keep the name."
Right.
So she changed the name still, but she was such a smart lady that she would still she would know that these expensive businessmen would be traveling and they would look for a reputable place they would want to go get a steak.
Yeah, so what happened was she bought Chris's steakhouse.
Right.
She tried to move the business after a natural disaster, and when she tried to move it, the name was specific to that plot of land, so she just called it Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Right.
But anyway,
that's just what I heard through the grapevine. House, and you work there, so I'm sure you know more than I do.
Yeah, but there are so many Californians coming here to Idaho. No joke, in the last week, I've had at least five tables coming here. They're just like, we're just staying in this hotel downtown. We're looking at houses. We're trying to move here, you know.
250,000 people, ladies and gentlemen.
And of course, I have to be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Like, Boise's a great town. Like, I can't tell
I
them.
warned people being from California, moving to here. Yeah, no, literally being from California and moving to here, when I run into another Californian, I give him a solid fucking warning, and I say, you will not be liked. Like, you will be liked by the other Californians because there's a fuckload of them now. But when I moved here 10 years ago, dude, it is an instant fucking, hey, dude, fuck you. That's just how people in Idaho are. They like Idaho. They like the way it is, and they're Republican. They're fucking set in their ways. And the second people start coming in and fucking changing that's when they get real fucking rowdy.
Not to mention the housing market is so significantly cheaper here.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, like on an exponential level, right? Like,
I haven't slowed down, like I said earlier. Like there's not a single bit of loss of business that I have had the experience with tile work. With COVID,
right.
You know, bartending. Ironically, I was gonna retire from tile when I broke my back.
Really?
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
I was 100% gonna retire. I was not gonna touch tile ever again. And then COVID hit.
And
I was like, well,
this makes
fuck,
sense.
I can't go back to bartending now. God damn it! I was gonna start bartending again and go back to school. I was like, I can't do because I broke my fucking back, dude. You know, like I should not be on my hands and knees doing fucking tile, and I only have about 5 years left in me before I gonna have to have back surgery or some shit.
Right. Like some
know.
reconstructive surgery or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not doing myself any good other than the fact I'm making bank.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. We live in a world of capitalism, right? Like, so you do you, boo-boo.
So, did we already play Ted's video?
No. Let's get into
fucking
that.
do
So
that.
Ted Challenger, like I said before, is an owner of several bars downtown, and he posted a public statement. We're gonna play that for you guys tonight. If I can get it to play.
So yeah, Ted is the owner and operator of
37 cases of COVID spreading through the bars, and I'll have to agree with that. We closed down last week, obviously, because we had a few members of our team get it. They're fine. They have the symptoms. I immediately closed down, had every one of my staff tested. We didn't open Strangelove full bore. We only opened a small room that, holds 100 people. So we had but we opened the sidebar too. So we didn't open the main dance floor. And we had one bartender get it. We've had a bunch at Amsterdam, in a manager, and a couple of doormen. So what do we do? I think we're gonna stay closed until the 26th. I'm paying to have every one of my employees tested. We're gonna put up plastic barriers and stuff to do what we have to do. Don't think this is limited to bars. Bars are just getting a lot of attention right now, rightfully so. I mean, we do attract a lot of people. People do drop their social distancing a little bit, but this is all, the rally was on the 2nd, and then the bars got flooded afterwards on a weeknight. So we didn't have all the bartenders, because we didn't know, that could handle the case, the people in, so we couldn't spread them out. They were all going to the same bartender, the same waitress, stuff like that. It could be a possibility of that. It could be a possibility of work. It's going to go through. But I want to ask you something. Has anybody else experienced this? I and one of my managers had lunch twice in a row, and then we shared a sandwich. She ate some of my meal, I ate some of hers, and she got sick the same night. We had cold sweats, fever, shaking, body aches, and the worst headache, one of the worst headaches I ever had. And so we got tested, and she's still sick. I feel better, but I quarantined anyway. She went and got tested. I got tested. I got tested in St. Luke. She got tested with Primary Health. Hers came back positive. Mine came back negative. Then I have a bartender who lives with his girlfriend who they both got sick. She tested positive. He tested negative, and he's still in bed sick. And so I think we have a problem with testing that we've got to figure out. It's becoming readily available, but they won't let you test until you have symptoms. But we have so many asymptomatic people walking around that have been around people with COVID that need to get tested if we're really going to control this. But are we really going to control a pandemic? We're learning that you can't. I mean, we could stay home. We could close every business. It's still going to be out there the minute we open up. And does it need, the herd mentality need to happen where we protect the senior citizens and the people with double jeopardy type illnesses that could kill them? We obviously don't want that. But, we are getting better at treating it. They are getting better at stopping the death rate. It seems like, we've gone up in numbers, but in deaths, we've only got 80. We went to 80. I don't mean only. Sorry, we went up and only I think 2 cases of death, which isn't necessarily acceptable either. I'm just saying there's so much misinformation, not even misinformation, there's so much not understood. It's very frustrating to try to navigate this time. We try to do our best. We're going to put thermometers out front on the 26th.
Wow.
Plastic shielding up in front of the bartenders.
Yeah, man.
2 people hired full time. Simply
thermometers,
to disinfect and clean
just
throughout the night,
to fucking
all
get in the
handrails
door,
and stuff.
guys.
But I think people are still going to get it. When you walk
He's
to
right.
work, do you touch an elevator?
He's
that
right.
Everybody
He's not
was in.
wrong.
People are still going to
Do
get
you
it.
touch the buttons? Do you? There's so many ways. I was just kind of amazed at thinking how truly do you stop this?
You don't.
Do you shut down the economy and we just wait to openly open again and have the numbers go up and then close again? I think we need to look at, I'm not an expert, but really getting the people at high risk really tucked away safe, build a support system for them, and then let it kind of, the young crew's not affected. The ones that have it on my crew, have all said they've had worse flus. I'm very grateful that mine subsided, but so confused. And there's been a lot of anger towards the bars. We have employees that were offered $1,700 or so to go back to work. And so the first and foremost priority is make sure they're safe, that they can safely take care of you. So I don't know the answers, but this sucks, It sucks that it's coming
100%.
on the bars'
fucking
backs.
sucks.
I mean, this could happen at a church, or, they're never mentioning anybody else's job places or anything like that, but we'll do what we have to do as an industry. But, paying people to go back to work when how many
This feels like
millions
another
of dollars-
tangent over here.
Okay.
We'll in there.
So to speculate on that a little bit, let me turn you down back to where you were. That was a lot.
Yeah,
That was a lot to hear. That was a lot to be a part of. That was a lot to think about, because I, for one, I fucking stormed the bars when they opened back up.
Oh, same. I mean, we all did, right? Like that's our happy place as people who are social, people who are outgoing and have worked in the industry, right? We relate best to being out.
And the thought of that being jeopardized for the rest of our life, maybe. What if this never goes away? What if the way of living that we currently see and experience now, we attempted to come back into it?
Right. Like,
What if that's never actually going to be something that we get back to?
and it seems like we're kind of towing the line right now, honestly. Like, think about it. We had to close down 3 major bars. Another restaurant today closed, right?
Hannah's had their dance floor open on Saturday
Right. And
after the article was released. Did you know that?
yeah, I mean, some
Hannah's had their
some
full
bar
on dance
owners,
floor open and everything, man.
some bar owners are just like, this is gonna come and go, right? We have to get past this. We have to get some sort of immunity going, which the science behind that we're not gonna really get into, right? Like,
Right.
but
I feel like they shouldn't
a
be
certain
held.
point-
I feel like they shouldn't be held responsible for just trying to get by. Sure, we can do the face masks, we can do all these regulations and shit like that, but you're a fucking bar. If somebody, granted, we can protect our bartenders, but if somebody as a patron decides to go out and be in public, that's fucking their choice. This is America.
it is, right? Like, we're not a
And it's
dictatorship. We're not on lockdown.
Yeah, like
We're
a
not
bar
free state.
is based off of that premise. We go to the bar because we have that fucking ability, because we need that social aspect in our lives. And to be told that's fascism.
It is. I mean, and in a way, so like I studied psychology, right? Like I have my bachelor's degree in psychology.
Right.
And one of our hierarchy of like basic needs is to be social, right?
Right.
Like, it's obviously a
It's
different term in there, but
fulfilling, yeah.
yeah, but like for a lot of us,
For everybody in some way, even the introverts.
yeah,
It's-
even in some way, you have to get.
you got a
your
dog.
fill.
You're being social with that dog. Like
Right,
you're fucking
right.
being social
Yeah,
with
no, it's-
something.
It seems like a very. Something's happening off screen. We're laughing at real quick.
Off-screen cameo.
But yeah, get back into it, man. Like, being social is very basic as humans, right? So
Right.
the fact that, and to agree, like I'm not conspiracy theories or anything like that. Do I feel like people had such pent up energy? That's why these protests and stuff escalated to some of the points, is because people were on quarantine and then all of a sudden let go, right?
That's also why we had less of a hostile amount of protests, because we
It was
opened
more
up.
peaceful, right?
No, we opened up that weekend.
Right.
Think about it. The weekend George Floyd was killed was our opening weekend for the bars.
That's a
There's-
huge point.
There is so much fucking built up tension by those. You know why? I was at the fucking bar that night.
Oh.
I would have been protesting
Right.
if the bar was closed, but the bar was open, and I was like, yeah, let's go,
Baby.
That's a huge
Fuck
point.
yeah, exactly. And so, that's why I had to commend Idaho for being an initiative maker on this movement. You know, they said, you know what, man, we got to support our local
Imagine what
businesses
it'd have been
somehow.
like though if the bars were not open.
That's exactly where I'm at, bro. It's what
If people had held on to that energy.
I documented a couple of the protests. I was there with Camden, and I have videos of fucking bro. We had almost like I want to say 25% of the protesters were Trump supporters countering the protests. They're anti-protesters.
Right. As there always will be.
There will be, but we're a red fucking state. And like, none of these motherfuckers that were at the anti-protest were from Boise. They were all from Cuna. They were all from fucking Boonies, Nampa. They
North
were coming.
Idaho.
They came down for that. But dude, we were sitting up on the rooftop of Reef, and I had Camden record it. There was a line of Trump supporter trucks with Trump flags. Causing issues to the protest and like provoking problems, and it was starting to cause a lot of tension. This was like the first night of the protest. I was at a fucking bar. Where would I have been if I wasn't eating? Where would I have been if I hadn't been going out? If I hadn't had a week to get
want something to be behind, right? Like you want
I just needed I needed an outlet.
Some sort of release, right?
I needed an outlet, and that my outlet was going out that last weekend, going out that first weekend. I was like, fuck, dude. I feel for George Floyd. I appreciate everything. I want to protest, but at the same time, I've been cooped up for 4 fucking months, dude. I got my rights.
Right.
And my rights are, I need to be a human, and I'm fucking shook, and that's why I really thought about it and was just like, dude, Idaho did a smart move because I went to Spokane.
I don't think it was planned, but it worked out really well.
It was not planned at all. So the thing is, I went to Spokane last week.
Okay.
Their mall is open. Everything's open, right? Just like we are. So Spokane's Washington, but they're following Coeur d'Alene rules because Spokane and Coeur d'Alene are so integrated with each other. They're basically the same fucking Treasure Valley.
Right.
The Treasure Valley is our district, like all of like fucking LA County.
All the way to Ontario, right?
Yeah.
It's still the Treasure Valley. And so
so the Treasure Valley is our giant area, and so essentially up north of Coeur d'Alene and Spokane is the same. So walking around the mall, bro, at the fucking Spokane Mall downtown. I've been there before. It's a cool fucking mall. It's a great time. Aubrey, my girlfriend, is a soccer player. We wanted to go to the Nike store. We're trying to walk down to the Nike store, and we realized half of the mall is shut down. We're like, what the fuck's going on? And they had like these weird like fucking locks on all these doors and stuff, so you couldn't get to this whole section of the mall.
Wow, okay.
And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. It's not just a store closed, and a whole entire section of the mall was shut down. And they did that because the Nike store got looted, bro.
No way.
The Nike store got fucking full on. Like there was so when we got there in downtown Coeur d'Alene, we were there Saturday night, and this was a week ago.
Okay.
Right when things were starting to open up there too, and so it was after the weekend. I think they had initially started opening things up, and we went there at night. The first night we got there to get food at the sushi spot, so restaurants were open and shit.
Right.
And it was really weird because the jewelry shop was boarded up still, and we showed up the next day and the jewelry shop wasn't boarded up, and Aubrey was like, well, maybe they boarded up every night, and I was like, no, dude, this is like they finally unboarded it, like they're trying to open back up,
because boarding is kind of a serious process, right? Like you have to like screw stuff into the wall,
Yes, it's also expensive. It costs like $300-$400 just to get that wood, bro.
Right.
That much plywood, it ain't cheap.
Not to mention the labor too.
Exactly. If you're doing it, it's more than likely the business owner. But if you're hiring a contractor to come do that, I charge $75 fucking an hour. I'm gonna charge you 2.5-3 hours to do that plus my employee wage, plus the materials. Like that's a couple grand just to board up a building, dude.
Like it's a serious thing. You do that if you're actually like seriously.
Yeah, it really is. And that was before we went to downtown Spokane. And so when we went to downtown Spokane, I saw the entire Nike store boarded up, bro. I have pictures on my fucking film camera of the boarded up, and somebody spray painted all the boards of this crazy cool fucking thing. Super eerie, super cool, but just a weird thought.
Let's talk about that for a second. What a weird time we're living in, right? Like,
no shit.
Did you ever think that we'd be closing bars down, restaurants down? We'd be boarding up businesses, like huge corporations? Jimmy John's during the
downtown Jimmy John's
downtown Jimmy John's, probably the busiest Jimmy John's in the Treasure Valley.
Probably one of the busiest Jimmy John's in Idaho.
Yeah,
honestly.
Was closed.
Well, they have one down. I think they have one downtown Spokane too, but like it's not like our Jimmy John's is next to the largest nightclub in Idaho.
Not to mention
and open till like 3 in the morning.
Offices downtown, right? Like
like it's a very prominent delivery service that people kind of rely on. Like I myself, somebody who cannot drive with a suspended license because I fucked up. Anyways,
same.
Yeah, I mean, I order Jimmy John's once a fucking week because it's convenient, it's quick, and it costs $10 with delivery to have a sandwich and a fucking
Sandwich, drink, and chips, right?
No, sandwich, drink, and a pickle. Get it right, bro.
All right, the pickle. Yeah.
Sandwich, drink, and a pickle. For
If you were to
$10.
tell me in 2020 that I didn't have to go to work, I could only go to the store for food, and then I could only buy weed from the dispensary, I would have thought you were lying.
All the dealers are done.
Yeah.
This is what I
No,
said.
it's only dispensaries are open.
Yeah,
Because they're deemed as essential now.
I just
which
can't
is
find a single
wild.
Joe Schmo that's like hey,
Wild. Right?
Yeah, like, did I
Like-
ever think I was going to live in a time like this? But still across the board, right? Federally illegal.
Federally illegal, but every state that has the what is it?
The legalization.
Yeah, the legalization where it's decriminalized or whatever. You can go out and buy weed recreationally, and it's deemed as essential.
All right. Well, also they weren't trying to have riots caused about people not being able to get their pot. Think about
Which
it.
is-
You think that's
You
part
think-
of it?
Oh fuck yeah, bro. Why do you think liquor stores and why do you think marijuana are still open? Because I'll tell you what, right now, if they weren't, George Floyd would have made me a lot more angry. 'Cause
We would have all been.
holy shit, because my nerves would have been already on the fucking ready to break, 100% ready to be done. And then the second I hear the fucking cops brutally killing somebody that didn't deserve it, I've been like, let's go.
Let's riot. Let's
Exactly.
flip some cop cars.
And-
Right? Like that's. I mean, and
bro-
that's what happened in some places, though, right? Like, look at case
I
in point.
bought a couple things of alcohol just to have on deck when like things started up. I was like, oh shit, dude. Oh.
I would make a point of, meaning you have suspended license, right? I would make a point of
Stalking.
stalking, right? Like I'd be like, hey, are you going out near Albertsons? Yeah. Okay, cool. Can we stop at the liquor store?
Right.
And I would schedule that in my day
Yeah, exactly.
because it's like sometimes it's the only way to, I guess, kind of deal with the stuff. I mean,
did you drink more because of the COVID or less?
no, I probably drank less. I mean,
I did
at
too.
the beginning, I drank a lot, right? Like the first, like we were talking before the podcast that we had both
Right,
kind of
right.
taken a whole like month just to like
Right.
recenter ourselves. And then
Right.
during that time, I probably drank a bit more than I would
I
normally
was
do.
the opposite. The first month I didn't drink for shit. Didn't
Really?
drink for shit. Which I noticed a lot of people doing the opposite of. Yeah, like the first month, everybody drank a lot. But I was also recovering from a heavy brain injury and a back injury. So I
Right,
was
so
already
you're-
on this grind of not drinking. So once this hit, I was like, whatever. And I chose to go stay with my parents because I felt that staying with my parents would have been better than, because I live alone, and staying with my parents was a lot more fun and just, it was an opportunity
to keep that social
to
aspect,
spend
right?
family time.
Anyway, social time, right?
My dog doesn't eat human food, by the way. It makes him sick. Don't do that. Thank you. Party at the podcast studio, guys. Anyways. Hey, Terry, I love you. You're awesome. Thank you.
I don't know.
Now you do. That's all good. I appreciate you.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, boys. So, Jared, would you believe me if I told you we've hit 52 minutes already?
I believe you.
It goes. I told you, dude.
Yeah, it goes by quick. Yeah.
It goes quick. It goes fluid. You two are killing me over there. Killing me, Smalls. Killing me, Smalls. To all the listeners that actually do listen to this podcast,
I'm really sorry.
we do have to apologize for a little bit of technical difficulties.
I brought my friend along, and it's just causing mayhem right now.
I'm sorry.
It's not the friend. It's the fact you guys had a 6-pack and split it before you came over.
Oh no, we had 2 6-packs.
It doesn't matter. I would have been the fucking worst out of there.
You don't have to get closer to the mic, bud. No, you don't. It's set. You're good. You don't need to move closer to it.
I would have been the fucking worst.
Anyways, back to the podcast.
All right, so let's dive back into this COVID thing. What that
Okay,
means for bars,
so-
real quick. If you don't mind me taking a little lead on
no,
this.
I would love to.
Uh,
Go for it.
if we close down again, which seems like we were talking about earlier, it seems about 60-70% chance. We're gonna see a lot of businesses close down, right? Like,
And a lot of locals. That's like the important thing. It's not the businesses
it's
in general.
established
It's
locals, yeah.
it's the businesses that we care about are going to be gone. It's not the businesses like Jimmy John's. They're a chain.
They're a chain.
It,
They
it
have-
sucks to see that Jimmy John's not be there anymore because that's essential to us as a service person. We're like, fuck,
Right.
dude, that's a good place for us to get food at any time of night.
anytime.
And that's going to suck for us just as that convenience. But like what's going to really suck is Boise, Idaho. This is a Boise-based podcast, guys. This podcast is literally the premise of it. People ask me, dude, well, what's your podcast about? Like, what's the premise? What's the subject? I'm like, it's a Boise podcast, bro. It's all about people who live here. It's all about people with their stories. It's all about this town. And that's what I've found that I've had the best genuine response with. That's what I want this to be.
It's real. It's honest. Like, it's raw. Like, you're getting
because
stories
Boise's
from
fucking
people.
rad, bro.
Yeah,
This place
it is
is
rad.
amazing.
Yeah.
And if we get hit
And we are
hard
kind
enough,
here.
yeah, and if our local businesses go under, like, dude, that's what this place is. Like, the reason people shop at the places we have here, the reason people go out, the reason people are Boise, is because it's local. We like it's a mini fucking Boulder, Colorado, bro. Like, we are all about the locals. We are all about the fucking environment here. Like, not environment about Mother Earth, but the environment of Boise. Like, just our thing we have. You know, it's sacred to us. And I'm not a native. My family's native. Like, my parents were born and raised here. I was born and raised in another state for when I was a teenager. I don't tell people that. Like, I consider myself a Boise native. I've been here over 10 years.
You're a potato.
Yeah,
You're a potato.
yeah,
Right? Like,
exactly. I'm a potato, man. Like, I fucking hate Californians. And, like, my brother's living in North Hollywood and has lived in North Hollywood for his entire 30 years of his life. And I've lived here for 75% of my life. I've lived in Idaho, you know. And I'm just like, he's come down to California. I'm like, for what, dude? To get fucking raped and killed or fucking yelled at?
It's just so more dense population over there, right? Like, we have our
It's
our
also
city.
dirty. It's just dirty. This is a clean,
It's
beautiful town.
clean.
It's-
I mean,
you can
we
breathe.
have in the city, we have the homeless people even helping us pick up on the sidewalks. Like, people out there, like,
dude.
keep it clean. Like,
I went to Spokane, bro, and literally I'm like, we walk out of the old spaghetti factory at like 8, maybe 9 o'clock at night, dude. And this dude wearing a full-size fucking blanket, smoking a stogie, walks up, and we're wearing full dress suits. Like, we're fucking stacked.
yeah, it was a date night, right? Like,
Yeah, it was date night. It was a birthday dinner at Old Spaghetti Factory, bro. And we're walking out of this, and like, girls got black dresses on, you know, fucking pencil skirts, like the tie.
Yeah.
I got a suit with a fucking tie. I'm looking good. And we're the last people in there, you know, we're walking out. And as we walk out, this fucking dude with a full-on blanket and his stogie walks up, and he's like, "This is a bar, is this Old Spaghetti Factory?" And we didn't even answer him, you know, and we're like, "It's old." Actually, one of the girls was like, "It's Old Spaghetti Factory." And he's like, "All right, cool." And he goes to open the door and go in like he fucking was welcome there. And I'm like, bro, they're not even serving regular people, let alone your dumb ass. Like, come on, dog. Like, and then as we're like walking in the alley, like leaving the fucking bar to get to our car, we turn around and homeboy's like, "My name's Mike. 324-256-2714. Hit me up." Dude, like, the girls we're with, and we're just both like all just cracking up, like.
Hey, man, live your life, though.
I'm
right?
like, hey, at least he has a phone number.
Priorities, right? Priorities.
Let me get some of that nicotine, my man.
All right, yeah. Yeah, no, it's like it really is though. But like, Boise is a great city, and our kind of our new motto we've adopted right over the years is keep Boise kind, and
Oh, I like that.
I
like that a lot, man.
we've definitely
I honestly haven't heard that.
there's it's like a wave. It's like a new wave thing.
I'm gonna make that a hashtag and put that on my fucking.
Yeah, keep Boise kind, right? Like,
I'm
'cause
gonna
think
put that
about
on
it.
my podcast.
How many
baby.
places?
That's awesome.
How many places could you go where? Here's a story from
The Pleasantville vibe.
Here's a story from my past, right? You ready for this? I had spent a night out drinking with some Army buddies, and I was on leave. And there's a couple Army buddies here that live in Idaho, and I mean we sent it. We sent it. We closed down closed down a bar. We're still doing shots, like
Right.
just obliterated. We had a buddy we paid for the night to drive us around a limo that my buddy had bought. He purchased a limo. It's like this old 70s like porn limo, right? Like
Right.
So we were cruising around downtown with this like old school 70s porn limo, and it's got the Coke mirrors on it, and then the inside and everything. I mean, this thing was
No
sick.
shit,
Yeah.
dude. Wow.
It we had sent it, and we were at IHOP, and I remember this girl falling and cracking up on her head, and I was just like, man, like this is gonna be a bad night. Like, I was a combat medic, but I was useless at that point. I was like, bro, I can't even like tell you my own name at this point, right? So we're at IHOP sitting there,
You're just
God,
looking at her
must
like,
be
I know what to
3 in
do,
the
but
morning. I was
can't
like,
do it.
keep pressure on it. Like that's all I can tell you right now. Like get her to the hospital. But other than that, I'm not gonna be able to do anything.
I
'cause
shouldn't do anything.
I shouldn't legally should not do anything, right?
If a doctor is drunk in that situation, like,
You're not supposed to. I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, but if you've been drinking,
Yeah, but I'm hammered.
Yeah. You don't want to
you don't want to
legal ramifications of that, right? Like,
okay.
So yeah, they went up taking her to the hospital. So I went and bought a hotel room next door because I was more responsible back then apparently. I just crashed out. Right now, I woke up the next day, phone completely dead. I managed to get a taxi downtown, and I walk into a coffee shop in the Bodo complex, and it's still there. I can't really tell you the name of it. It's like an Italian name, but. I walk in, I was like, hey, like I've had a super rough night.
Is it on the corner next to Still?
Yes.
That one. That's
Yeah,
a fucking dope coffee shop.
That's a dope coffee shop.
I wish I could give you a name, guys. Sorry.
It's like Cafe Dia.
Oh, yeah. Cafe Del Fuck Me. I don't know. Like, it's something good.
Cafe.
Huh?
The arte.
Diarte.
Oh, Diarte. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah. Cafe Diarte.
Positive input.
Terry for the win.
Terry for the win.
So, yeah, I walk in there, and I look absolutely haggard, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'd spent all night drinking. I had already missed an appointment I was supposed to go to, like basically taking my sisters to school, and I was so parents were mad, everyone's mad. Anyways, I walk into this coffee shop, and this is the first time I realized like Boise's like the place for me, right? I walk in this coffee shop, and I'm like, hey, does anyone have an Android charger? And like 5 people immediately bent down into their bags and pick it up and just help me out. And they're like, yeah, man, I got you. Like, I'm not going to be here for much longer, but you can charge your phone, get it right out of here and stuff like that. And I was like, awesome, thank you. Like, I was like, this honestly means so much. So I wound up contacting some friends that came to pick me up and took me back to my car and all that stuff like that. But you don't get that in a lot of big cities, right? Like,
You don't get that in any big city, bro.
You don't get that anywhere. People are going to ignore you.
My brother can't even come to this town because like he's from LA. Like he's a LA native, born and raised, always has been. And every time he comes out here, bro, like he says this is Pleasantville. And Pleasantville isn't necessarily a good thing to call somewhere because it's like fucking you feel like somebody's about to fucking kill you because people are too nice. Like shit's weird.
Nice. You don't understand.
You don't
why
understand.
are they so
like,
nice?
My brother walked into the gas station one time and the lady was like, how's your day going? What you up to? Blah, 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 blah. How you doing? Oh, you're from California.
right. No,
you know?
you get shut down. But it's because typically
we have a stigma about Californians.
We do.
And we don't. There's a reason for it. Like, when I moved here as a sophomore in high school, I was the biggest douchebag of my entire being ever in that
But
time
you were
of my
probably
life.
normal for California, though.
Totally.
Right?
Well,
yeah.
get this. When I told all my homies in California, I was like, dude, I'm moving to fucking Boise, Idaho, bro. They're like, oh, Potatoville, blah, 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 Potatoville. I shit you not, bro. Word for word, at least 90% of my, especially, even female homies, just my male homies especially, almost all of them, though. Dude, you're coming from the city, dog. They're gonna fucking love you, bro. You're gonna be the big city fucking big shot, dog. Like, oh my god,
the
bro.
lady killer,
bro. Literally every fucking one of my homies like says that to me, dude. So I roll into my first day of school with like a bro tank on.
Just cocky, right?
Oh, big dick energy, bro. I left that first day with small dick energy up the fucking butt, bro. I was just like. I literally got called like a faggot like 3 times walking through the hallway, and I was just like, for what? And then I realized it was 2010, and people don't wear tank tops in Idaho.
No, not.
They just don't.
We had not yet. We hadn't adopted.
That had not been a thing. Like a male wearing a tank top in high school was unheard of.
It was like a no.
No, yeah, it was very frowned upon, and like people were like, I wore tall fucking blacks, not tall, but like fucking Nike football socks, like the regular ones that come up to your ankle, Vans, fucking Dickie shorts, and like a fucking.
But like a very very California look, right?
Bro, so in California they call it a bro.
Right.
I was very bro.
You're very bro.
I was super bro because like California, I'm a minority. You know,
I think our producer wants to chime in here.
I was just gonna say Idaho is about 2 or 3 years behind the rest of the state.
Especially
Not
five
the
years
rest
on
of the
style.
state, the rest of the country.
The rest of the big cities.
Yeah, they're about 2 or 3 years
Any
behind.
trend-
Any trend
yeah.
you see,
Like scooters.
Like scooters, exactly. That's a perfect example.
Oh, bro, bird scooters
Because
took so long
bird
to hit here,
scooters hit. What was that? Probably like 4
But
years
the
ago.
thing is, too,
3 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So
2
bird
years ago.
scooters,
So we finally got bird scooters and all these other scooter companies about within the year.
also the thing that is kind of an interesting speculation about that is bird scooters and Lime scooters. They had a very positive impact on our community.
Oh, 100%.
In Los Angeles, they had a very negative impact. You know
People
why?
were leaving them everywhere, right?
You know why?
Why?
Because our community is based on community.
Right.
We think about the community. We think about others. We care about somebody seeing that. I walk around and I see one of those scooters lying on the side. I pick it up.
Right. We care about how things look around.
Dude, you go to fucking Venice Beach, bro. You see those scooters literally sticking out of the trash can. 'Cause some guy was like, like
It's
just
like, I'm
fucking on
wasted.
him.
I don't want this anymore.
No,
Like,
literally, you see them kicked over. You see them thrown into the fucking water at the beach. Like you see them in the fucking waterways on the sewers and shit. Like people just toss these fucking things. They treat them like shit. And that's just because people out there are shittier. They don't have that sense of community. But my brother, and the reason I say this is because my brother asked about bird scooters when he came up here one time. He was like, "You guys got these birds yet?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Not even a month later, they started popping. Well, and this was like after they'd been there for 2
Because Lime
years.
was first, right? Like we
Well,
got
just
Lime
in
first.
general, and just these scooters. I was like, "What do you mean these scooters?" Like, no, these are a major problem. Like the fucking Santa Monica County, Venice County, they're voting against these scooters because of the negative impact they're having on the community. Here, bro, they came here, so I had these fucking super negative connotations of these scooters when they started here. I was like, these scooters are fucking stupid. Like they don't do good. And then I saw how much people actually use them, and like I saw how shitty our bus system is, and that's a big part of it too. LA has a great public transportation.
Right. Idaho is very
Has
far
one of
behind.
the worst public transportations I can say I have ever experienced in my entire life. We're not metropolitan though, so we can't act like okay, we're a metropolitan city.
Can't
we
have
need
a subway, right? Like
Yeah, but like the fact that we don't, Terry. But the fact that we don't.
Dad, it's worse than everything else you've ever seen.
Yes, you're agreeing with me. Awesome.
Yes.
Because I mean,
Sucks ass.
for us as service industry, we do drink a lot, right?
Sorry, ladies and germs, we had a quick pee break right there.
Drank too much alcohol.
Oh, fucking A. So, we wanted to return. Did you remember what you were getting on before we cut off? Okay,
no
cool.
idea.
So,
We're gonna just jump to a new topic.
jump to a new topic. So, we're going to jump to a new topic. And I wanted to start it off with, like, these protests with everything have been so valid, so great, and so inspirational to be a part of, to see. And I did go to one of them. I went to the vigil. Like, it was awesome. Boise also being...
Boise showed up, 6,000 people.
That was the big...
On
Have you seen
average-
the pictures, man?
Oh, I've seen the pictures.
Holy shit, man.
On an average night downtown, Friday, Saturday night, average around 4,000 people. So 2,000 more people than the average downtown.
And all in one area around the Capitol.
Right. But
So,
they
last
blame
night-
the bars for coronavirus.
Right. No shit. They totally do. And the funny thing is, did they ask those people if they went to the protests?
No.
Oh, you went to Amsterdam on Saturday. Well, did you go to the protest on Friday? Like,
And-
fuck you, guys.
And from
Like,
the sounds of it, from behind the scenes, and don't quote me on this, it sounds like the Central District Health was trying to pressure people into saying they contracted on a specific date, right? Because they're just trying to, like...
sounds like CDC is doing a little bit of schnikey shit.
Data manipulation.
I mean, we were opening back up, and I think they didn't like to see that. And that's just a speculation. Like, I agree with being safe. I agree with precautions. But also, the people going to the fucking bars have an immune system, are healthy, are young. And if you're not, why the fuck are you going out on a Saturday night drinking in a bar with 20-year-olds?
Right.
Get the fuck out. Like, if you're a high-risk person.
You're an adult. Everyone's an adult. They can
Yeah.
go to a bar, right? Like, speaking age-wise, speaking whatever, everyone's an adult.
Right.
So, if you can't make that decision and the government has to make it for you, what are we even doing here?
Exactly. And this is coming from a veteran, guys.
Right.
Like, this is
I-
a man of his country.
I
right
put
here,
I put
you
my
know?
life on the line for the government, and I still don't trust it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather make my own choices.
I don't know if you listened to the podcast with Blaze. I know you didn't, but it was also a long podcast.
I mean, I can listen to it tonight. I listen
So,
to podcasts when I go to sleep.
The reason I ask you is because we got into this a little bit. We got into what would you feel if you were a veteran and you were asked to lay arms on your country?
I wouldn't do it.
And
Alright.
how do you think 90% of the people who are serving right now feel?
Because think about it this way: if we had
Conflicted,
if we had a civil war breakout again,
right?
I would be avidly shooting at my brothers, my friends, my like close family, like
Right.
because we all have different political views, right? Like, and
Exactly.
I couldn't do it.
So this makes me want to put some light on something. I have not a very good friend of mine. I have a mutual friend, a buddy of mine that I met when I was like 18 years old, and I was in California on a weekend visit down to visit my brother, and through a friend of a friend, I met this guy who was I can't remember what branch he is again, but he's a military man, and this guy introduced me to Sailor Jerry rum, and we went to some crazy fucking ghetto party in the middle of fucking Compton, like. Super interesting night, like, and I was like 18
Like
years old.
it's a story you tell people later.
It's
right?
a great story,
Right.
absolutely great. But I still follow this guy on social media, and he is a fucking character. He's a cool guy to follow. He travels the world. He's a fucking army guy. He still serves. I think he's on his like fucking third tour, dude. Like he's awesome, and he also has a very heavy, just stance on all this stuff. The way he feels about it.
Yeah, very opinionated political view.
Very respectable though, like the way he like transmits his political view, and the way he like shows this is our country still, like I'm doing this because I'm told to do, this is where I stand. And I'm going to read you an excerpt, and he sent it to me and told me I'm allowed to use it too, so this is the great part. So this was a caption from one of his posts while he was serving recently, because he got dispatched to downtown LA.
Shit.
Yes. So he's posting pictures of him being in his he's in the Humvee, full gear.
Full battle rattle.
Full battle rattle, bro. Dope. I've never heard that before.
No, it's a military term for you.
So-
Full battle rattle, which means you're kid to the nines.
So I'm just going to read the conversation that I had with him, because this is something that I feel people should hear. I also asked him to come on the podcast, but I said, hey, man, I just wanted to say I really respect your post and the view you gave on this situation. Very wise words. I don't know if you remember me. We partied back in Burbank once years ago. You were friends with Ashley Crane and the Crane family, and you introduced me to Sailor Jerry rum. Hope you're well, brother. Yeah, I just fucking reached out.
Just like
to
a
the guy.
homie. Like a
Yeah, I
homie,
just reached
right?
out to him, dude. I was like, because I read what he said and was just like, fuck, man. That's some fucking wisdom. And this is what he said. Dude, I can never forget some degenerate ass shenanigans back in the day, and of course, man, thank you for that. I just wanted to shed some light on the situation from this perspective of someone on the ground here. Military is generally in a neutral position, considering the folks are more pissed at the cops, so they're just neutral right now. They're just there to make sure people aren't fucking looting.
Right,
you
because,
know?
well, okay, so...
And
okay.
hold on, this
Okay, yeah,
this
you
goes
go.
for a bit. The Army is more so referring to the situation. I'll slide you my caption. Feel free to move it around social media as you please. Turds everywhere, man. They hide amongst the crowds. Take care, brother. And this is what this caption was. Neighborhood watch. A lot of misplaced heat on the military presence in metropolitan areas. Scary as we may seem, we're keeping an eye out for the protesters. We love that people are out here assembling and making their voices heard and being unapologetically American. Unfortunately, a few idiots take it upon themselves to piss in the communal soup. And that's what we're here for. The nerds who think it's okay to destroy small businesses, arbitrarily attack folks, exploit resources, and destroy people's well-being in the midst of a civil unrest. Anyway, whether you're throwing up a peace sign or a fuck you, we're here for you. Yeah, we're scary, but that's that way for a reason. We're the Army. Never too scary to shake a hand or flash a smile.
Bro, and I agree with that. So here's my take on everything, right? And I kind of explained this to my mom because we recently talked about it. Before leaving for the Army, I didn't have a lot of friends from different nationalities or anything like that, right? Because Idaho,
Right.
growing up, Idaho is fairly white, right? Like when I joined the Army, we were all the same pile of shit to the Army, right? Like we were all in the same boat,
Maggots.
just circling the toilet bowl, right? Like we were all the same. I mean, like there was no room for racism. For me, I mean, for me personally, right?
Yeah.
Like, we were all
You're
dealing
all
with,
fucking brothers.
we were all brothers. We were all dealing with the same shit. We all got mass discipline the same. We all had to go do the same bullshit, right? Like,
I don't see the color of your skin, but the honor in your
no.
heart.
And we picked each other up.
Yeah.
And like, for the Army, for the government to involve National Guard, the Army, like active duty, whatever, some of which is against Geneva Convention, also tear gas. We'll get into that. But like, we had to say this because I deployed to Afghanistan in 2011, right? So we know we can and can't do.
Right.
By Geneva Convention, the laws of war, we're not allowed to use tear gas, which is basically CS
It's also
gas.
flammable.
Right, and it is so bad for you. I've been gassed, dude. Like,
Right.
in basic training, everyone gets sick, right? It's an adjustment period. Everyone's like freaking the fuck out. Their stress level is like skyrocketing. They send you through a gas chamber, and that's when everyone starts to get better, right? Because it clears out your system. That stuff's no joke. I would not wish that on anyone. First of all, they make you take off your mask, see your name, social security, your rank, the Army creed. Like,
Basically state the fact that you're okay with this.
it is terrible. You cannot breathe. Your lungs are shutting down. Your face is running. Like, everything is like coming out of your pores. Police should not have that power. We should not use that on our citizens. Like,
right.
like there's another way. Look at the UK. Their police force doesn't even have guns. They haven't used guns in years.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the UK did.
Fucking in the UK, police officers don't have guns.
Yeah,
You're kidding.
they
no,
don't have.
they don't have guns.
I didn't know that at all.
No. Do they have tasers?
I think they might have tasers now, but they definitely have like nightsticks and stuff. But like,
yeah, they have nightsticks.
but like, they don't have guns. They don't have firearms at all.
There's no fire.
Unless you absolutely need it. Like, unless there's like
the locked up shotgun in the
right.
fucking squad.
Right. Like,
yeah, they have like special divisions where they have like fully armed, like
kind of
fully
like
auto
our
people,
SWAT,
Like
like
our version of SWAT.
Right. But the normal police officers, they don't have guns at all.
Wow.
because they're there to keep the peace. They're not
Right.
there to enforce the peace.
Right. And most people in the UK, as soon as they see a police officer, they'll be like, okay, I comply. Whereas here in the US, you'll have people that fucking run.
I'm just saying there's no song called Fuck the Fire Department. Right? Like,
It's true. Yeah. 100%. 100%.
or Fuck the EMTs, right? There's no songs like
Fuck the EMTs.
Right. Like,
there's definitely a song called Fuck the Police though. So like, is it a big problem? Yes.
Right. I honestly 100%, and that's also why I love this show so much. Didn't know a lot of these things. Every episode that I do, I come out with information that my ignorant ass would have never gone out of my way to learn.
I mean, and that's not a bad thing. That's a very good thing. You're learning about the rest of the world and how they deal with the problems, right? Like,
All right.
here in America, yes, we are the greatest nation.
Right.
I 100% believe that. But do we do everything right? No.
Fuck no.
No, we don't. Do we do right by our veterans, our citizens, anything like that? No, we don't. But we are the most progressive. We're the most free thinking, right? Like our science and our arts, like, unparalleled, right?
Right.
I mean, we just successfully launched people into space. That was super dope.
Dude, and the fact that it took a private
A
contractor.
private contractor.
God damn. Did you see? So there is this meme out there of Elon Musk.
The sexy Elon Musk.
The sexy-
ASMR. Like,
the sexy Elon Musk.
So there was this meme that said, I wish somebody would look at me the way Elon Musk looks at his rockets.
no, but for real, it's like, that guy is so, I mean, say what you want to be about Elon Musk, right?
Not
Like,
a single bad fucking thing.
well, okay. Lately he's
I'll
been
fight you. I'll fight you.
No, but lately he's been a little strayed from the course.
Right.
I'll say that.
Right.
But the end goal is the same. He has put successfully astronauts into space, right?
He's not only done that, he's building fucking trainways. He's changing the
He's
fucking
building
world.
solar panels.
Not only that, but he took the rocket that launched them into space and then landed it back on Earth to reuse.
For
Yeah.
reuse. Yeah, he landed
Yeah.
it.
No, that's the whole thing with Elon Musk is they took that first stage of the rocket.
Do
like,
they always just not reuse them?
Yeah, no.
No, they used to just send them into space
Yeah.
and just let them fall and destroy
Right.
themselves.
And
right?
then it just
No.
fell into the ocean.
He's like, hey, I can
But-
save money by making the rocket re-land.
Exactly. And that's exactly what he did. He took a floating buoy and landed the fucking rocket
On a buoy?
on a buoy in the
kidding.
middle of the ocean
Yeah.
How did it?
to reuse.
Parachute land or?
Literally.
No, it
because this
uses
thing costs
thrusters.
millions and millions of dollars. No, he used thrusters to land it on the middle of a buoy in the middle of the ocean
I didn't know
to
any of this.
reuse.
I didn't know any of this.
No, he's
it's
a-
ridiculous. The amount of like math and science that goes into this.
But okay,
And
we-
I said
we
I
go
would
first?
fight you before I knew this.
Can I make a weird point real quick?
Please.
Of course, please.
When did you guys notice Elon Musk? Was that a couple years ago?
It was a first.
When I
Was it
started
Tesla-
buying
was it Tesla?
when
The
I started
first
buying his
Tesla
stocks,
car.
when I
Yeah,
started
right,
buying
like-
his stocks is really
but,
when I started
like-
paying attention to him.
I didn't pay
first
attention
noticed
to him
this.
when he owned PayPal. Like when I
No,
didn't
no,
pay
no.
attention to any of the
No.
any previous stuff, but like
But Tesla.
But as
But
soon
Tesla,
as
yes.
Tesla
Tesla brought him
hit,
out of the
as
fucking-
soon as Tesla hit, that's when I was first like, ooh, who's Elon
and,
Musk?
and it was weird. And I know it's not a conspiracy theory podcast or anything, but
Who said it wasn't?
I'm saying like
It could be.
it could.
All this podcast is, ladies and gentlemen, is a Boise-based podcast. So if you got a fucking conspiracy, like, fuck.
No, I mean like
I mean, we got a guy from Boise on here already, so we're already in the parameters, guys.
No. Like, and I want to come back. I want to talk about like some of the.
Now you do.
I was
Couldn't get you on. Couldn't get you on to save your life.
But
If I
here-
told you you're gonna fucking die tomorrow unless you come on my podcast, you would have been like, meh.
I choose death. I choose death willingly. I, Jared Kisling, choose death willingly.
And now you're over here like, oh, come on again. Which, to be fair,
Okay, but, like-
every other person who has came on and actually experienced this as a whole, and they've heard of it in the past. They were like, oh, did you have a podcast? Bleh. Cool. But I had them on. They were like, dude, this was nothing like what I thought it would be.
This is my second time on, for the record. To be fair, I did it
The first time on being the
in person, right? In person.
That's
right.
a huge difference, bro.
No,
like even
100%,
Anna, like
yeah.
I've had Anna on twice before she was on in person, and when she came on in person, like, dude, it was a fucking show, dude. The Camden was here, like, it was such a good show. Like,
Good.
We
like,
really just
that's how
went
it
into
should be. But like, we did the best we could at the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
That being said, the conspiracy theories are. Here we go. I'm gonna dive into this real quick. That in 2012, our world actually ended and we merged into another universe, right? Because think about it. Did you know about Elon Musk before 2012? You did not. No one did. But afterwards. Oh, our
Are you
producer-
saying
fucking hate you.
Elon is an alien?
I'm saying
Okay,
Are you
Elon's
saying-
from a-
Elon
no, I'm saying
thinks he's an
Elon's-
alien.
I'm saying Elon's from a different universe.
Right. so
Elon
he's an
thinks he's an alien, though. So
Right.
An alien to our universe, yes.
You know,
Okay.
I might believe that honestly.
Look at how much he's done in a short amount of time, right? Like, look at how much he's done in a very short amount of time. No one has done exponential growth like this for a long time. Yes, cell phones have continued to
Exponential
improve.
growth, not just for their company, but for the better of the world. Though.
For the
That's
world,
where it's
right?
important.
Like,
Like he's not just growing.
we're
because
planning
he's like
to
Amazon, where he's trying to fucking build his company and be the biggest.
He's a
distributor.
monopoly. It's fine, but like,
yeah, but Elon Musk, on the other hand, is somebody that
he's like, we're gonna
doing
land
it.
on the fucking moon. We're gonna
Right.
have. I'm gonna solve traffic. He's like, I'm gonna solve the energy crisis.
I'm gonna solve real problems.
Right. He's like, hey, look, I created a solar system, and I created a battery that fits on your wall. You can go completely off the grid.
And that's
He
also
just
why-
launched. I don't know if you guys know, but he just launched like a ton of satellites into space, like 65 or something crazy like that. And he's creating a new internet for everyone. It's satellite internet, and it's like faster than any speeds we
Okay,
have.
when did this happen?
Like super recently. Like Elon Musk is.
So, in the midst of his rocket going off, by the way, I got 65 satellites.
Yeah, no,
handling
he's just
everything
like, I
else.
launched a ton of satellites, and like now I'm gonna provide
Jesus
internet
Christ.
service for everyone at a much cheaper rate. Like, this is the fucking point we're at, right? Like, we're at a new revolution where this guy who is taking ideas and making them happen. like, we're at a point where we're going to start to see the future. And I
We're at that point. We're already starting to see it. It's crazy.
and maybe this fucking quarantine is a blessing.
It was.
Right? Like,
I agree.
That we're all growing as individuals. We're all spending a lot more time thinking instead of just going through the motions, being numb, right? Like, maybe this quarantine is going to exponentially grow scientific growth, right? Like, we're going to come through on the other side being better human beings, being able to solve these problems, like all these viruses, all these stuff like that. What if, this is just like I'm just throwing this out there. What if we have these scientists who've been working on trying to find a immunization for coronavirus, and they accidentally discover a cure for something else, or they accidentally like come up with some sort of solution that we're gonna better and like elongate human life.
Right.
Because I mean, realistically, everything that's going on right now is the cutting edge, right? Like, we're forcing people to push themselves to the next limit. So I almost want to say this, like, whole quarantine, for me, a lot of personal growth. I worked through a lot of issues from the military. Casey, you've worked through a lot of stuff. Like, you were about to give up on tile.
Exactly.
Your whole livelihood.
Exactly.
And now you're thriving, right? Like, let's look at the smallest things and take victories out of that.
Right. And also, to be said, this podcast would have never been started if it wasn't for COVID-19.
Right. You wouldn't have had this outlet. You wouldn't have had
that. And one thing I have to say, like, I was on this tangent all the time of saying, how many times did I tell you I was going to start a podcast?
a few, but like,
but you heard it out of me. Like,
I heard it out of you.
But it never actually happened and got initiated
until coronavirus.
But I sat there and I talked about it all the time. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do stand-up comedy. I'm gonna start a podcast. Kateri's passed the fuck out over there. It's pretty great. And I'm gonna start a podcast. I'm gonna do all this shit. And then COVID hit. And then I also watched this movie that had the Alan from fucking 2.5 Men and what's the other guy? It's Pete Davidson. Okay, and so Pete Davidson kind of befriends this kid that he's dating his sister, right? And the kid, he's a young kid, and so he sees this guy as an older brother. The boyfriend and the girlfriend, Pete Davidson and his girlfriend, break up. Okay, and after the breakup, Pete Davidson still stays friends with this kid for fucking years. Like, they're just homies, right? And he's not necessarily the model friend that you as a father would want to have for your kid. Like, you just don't want to have that. But there was a scene from the movie, long story short, where Alan from fucking 2.5 Men looks at his son, who's friends with Pete Davidson, the piece of shit, and says, as they're talking about starting a podcast, oh, Dad, he's doing things, bro. Like, he's like, Dad, like, well, I don't know why you hate him so much. And Dad, he's starting a podcast. And then word for word from that phrase, Dad, he's starting a podcast, he says, nobody gives a fuck about what you're going to do, but what about you've already done?
Right, and I feel like we're actually tackling real issues, no matter how inebriated.
Exactly,
we are, right? But we're talking about it.
Exactly, and we would not have done this.
We would not have done this before. I mean,
or just like without the podcast, we would have not have had.
But like on a public forum to like even maybe influence one person, right? To think differently,
which is a plus. If one and that's what fucking Rondell said to me. He's like, dude, I'm gonna tell you this right now. What you're doing is fucking dope. What you're doing is fucking dope, because the fact that, you got me here sitting here talking to you, but like, dude, think about it this way, bro. You got one fucking person. You have to have one. You change
one person's life.
Yeah, and he said that. He's like, you have one person out here who is experiencing this, who is a part of this, and who sees it as huge. They see this as huge, and you got to keep doing it for that one person.
You have to.
And that's what he said. And then what he said was, like, bro, that's important. You're going to grow this.
Think about this. You get a teenager listening to this, right? Like,
right.
They're approaching life. They don't know what to think. And you're giving them an option. You're talking about both sides. We're talking about both sides. We're talking about the smallest level of, like, political government. We're talking about, like, things that are happening here and now that you can physically grasp onto and like have an opinion about. that wouldn't be possible without this podcast, right? Like
at all. And that to me is so wholesome. And the reason it's gone from where it came from to here, you know, and it's because the reason I started it was because the sole enjoyment I got out of the conversation I had with the person, you know. And
we're having real conversations. We're being social. We're talking about issues that matter. But and now we're taking it to a better level. We'll put it on a public platform, right? Like,
and it's not even about people listening to it, but it's about you knowing the fact that this is going to be posted. You in your mind, when you speak on this podcast, you speak with worth. You speak in a way that you know what you're saying is documented. Other people are going to hear you. You're not just speaking out of pure opinion.
No.
You're speaking out of pure...
Yeah, I mean, yes, at some points I have
and yeah,
an opinion
there's an opinion, but
right.
you're also not just stating your opinion frivolously. You're stating your opinion educatedly. Like, you're doing it in a way that you wouldn't do.
I'm a
not on a
30-year-old
podcast.
man. Like, you know, I've been through high school. Like, I've been through college. I've been through the military. Like, I'm coming from that perspective, right? Like, how a normal... Like, I'm not gonna ever run for office. Like, I'm not gonna ever do anything that great, right? Like, but as a normal human being that's gonna like exist in this world, this is my take on things, right? Like, and I think that's so awesome. You're getting like the people's voice,
right? And I'll tell you what, man. Like, this podcast, I'm not gonna stop doing it. I'm gonna keep growing it, only because the fact that my genuine love for what I do has shown results.
Right.
And that to me is the best part of all of this. I've got my best friend sitting here just as involved as I am, just because the fact that, dude, this is fucking, every time we do this, it's great. It's fun. It's like, it's fulfilling, you know? And every time I end a podcast with somebody, the way we end it, I go 3, 2, 1, out. They look at me and literally we high five and just go, yeah, because so fun. That went so well.
Every single time I'm here for this podcast, I hear about a different opinion or a different point of view that I haven't heard before.
Right.
And it lets me realize that, the world's big.
Right.
Well, like, not only that, like, you can grow as a human because you understand how someone else is processing this, right? Like,
yeah. And this is, it hits us a lot more, because we're the people involved in the show. We're here right now doing this. Like, to me, to you, to Camden, it's going to be more fulfilling for the three of us. But like you said, if there's one fucking person out there that listens to this conversation the three of us had, and it impacts him in some way, we're doing something right.
Absolutely. We're giving our opinion so they can base their own opinion off of what the knowledge they know, right? Like, so, like, with the whole protests, and I know you want to talk about that.
Right, yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all about exercising your right to assemble. I'm all about being able to be that person that's like, yeah, no, like, I'm an ally, right? Like, I 100%, and I talked about earlier, like, tear gas is banned in the Geneva Convention. That's our rules of war. War is the worst thing.
This isn't war right now.
It's not war. It's not fucking war. It is 100% police brutality.
Right.
They're taking it too far.
Right.
We've given those bullies in high school a little bit too much power.
I watched End of Watch the other night, or last night. I watched End of Watch.
Oh my god, that movie makes me like almost cry.
I cried. And it's an amazing fucking movie. And the thing that really hit me that was so relevant about the movie, there was a scene in the beginning where all of the cops were getting dispatched, and it was at the very laid back part of the movie. You know, it was warming up. Everything was like, it's a funny fucking movie. There's a lot of comedy in it.
Right? No,
it's well written. It's great. But
it makes you actually sympathize for like, police officers that are on the frontline battle.
And also being from LA, for me, like, I have a lot of sympathy for LAPD. They go through some shit, man. And what I saw on that really kind of irked me, but also, like, made me empathize for the cops. I was like, dude, there's not a lot of fucking people who are going to go out and do what they do. It's like joining the goddamn army. I'm sorry, there's not going to be a person with a doctorate that's going to sign up at 18.
1% in the United States signs up for the military service.
But what I'm saying is there's not going to be a lot of people to fucking do that job. It's just hard.
No, it sucks.
It's not just hard, but it's grueling on your mind.
Mentally tolling.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there was a scene in the movie where the guy he had a camera, he was walking around. They're all going out to the cars to go do their fucking rounds for the day. And the other cop was like, made a simple joke, and she was this younger Hispanic lady, and she was just like, I barely got my GED. You think I can fucking spell it? Just as a joke, you know? But yeah, like she barely got her GED. Like she barely she didn't graduate high school.
It's a real thing.
That's a real, and it wasn't like when I first watched the movie, that to me I was just like, well, this chick's a badass serving our fucking community, still doing what she's doing. Now people are like, yo, you go through more school to be a barber than you do to be a fucking cop.
But you do. I mean,
but also there's people who go to school to be a barber who don't have to go through what you do to be a cop.
Correct.
You know, it just takes a different person.
I feel like yes, there needs to be a little reform, but at the same time,
it's hard when there's people like LAPD. It's different than Boise PD. Like, dude, there's people in LAPD who are born and raised in the fucking East LA. No,
there's murders daily, right? Like,
yeah, you're walking into rapes to murders.
Our murders, we have the two, the Kylie and I don't remember the other kid's name, but the two kids that were murdered by the parents, right? Like,
right.
That made national headlines because shit like that doesn't happen here.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
And Robert's murder, like
Pleasantville. We're Pleasantville, right?
We are. Robert's murder. When I heard that happen, I was like, Robert's accident.
Right.
When I heard that happen, I was like, I originally heard from the grapevine, oh, somebody killed Robert, whatever. No, it was an accident.
No,
through
it was
the family.
an accident, bro.
You know,
accident.
It was an accident through the family, and you know, and out of respect for the whole situation, you know, that
because we know everyone involved, right? Like we
know everybody, but
we try to maintain. We talked about earlier a third person point of view, like where we're just like witnessing all this stuff happen, right? Like, but it's hard.
But I heard about a murder from down the street when I was a kid, and that didn't even fucking faze me. And I heard about one murder here in LA, or here in Boise, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And then it makes national headlines.
It hit me. I was like, you know where I live? I live right here. Fucking.
You live
so
downtown.
Close to Robert's house.
Downtown, yeah.
Dude.
Oh, to Robert's house. Yeah.
I live not even a mile.
Right.
It's not even a mile to fucking Barbacoa, bro. And he lives on the Boise River on Warm Springs, so it's like maybe a mile and a half to fucking his house.
And I actually live on.
You actually live closer than to Robert than I do.
Like
so think about that, a murder down the street. You know, that's more of what I thought of it as. I was like, there was a murder. I started locking my doors and all that shit that week.
I feel like you're the first person that told me too.
I was the first person in our group to find out. Other than I was, yes.
Yeah, no, and like that to me
but that was only because of the series of events that I heard, because the person who I heard from was with Robert's son that night.
Right.
So, you know, it was by coincidence.
And we all know Robert's son.
Yes. We don't need to talk about that. We're not using any last names.
No.
Like
it's a very well-known industry person here.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like, so it
was a very heavy hit. It was a very heavy hit.
It hurt really hard, right? Like, so for me to like hear that happened, and the possibility of murder, right? Like,
right.
That to me was like, who's next?
Like,
right?
you live alone too.
I live alone too.
You probably had the same series of feelings hit you. That I was like, dude, this is my backyard. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of
this is Boise. This is where I grew up.
And then
like,
this
is where I came back to after
not
the
even
military.
a week later, Camden has some fucking hobo pounding on his door trying to break in his fucking house. Not even a week after this murder, bro.
Let's talk about that for a second.
I wasn't even home when this happened. I'm not going to lie. But my roommate, Kelsey, who has been on the podcast before, was at home. And what had happened was a hobo came to our door.
No way.
Pounded on our door for like 2 minutes. And just expected to be let in.
I mean, why do you think he expected that? Like,
we don't know. He just came in.
His bike is still in his front yard.
Yeah, we still have his bike.
It's in the front yard just chilling.
He rode his bike to our house or to our neighborhood or whatever. Left his bike in the middle of our driveway.
Was he on anything? You can tell?
I'm guessing. I'm guessing.
Granted, his bike
he had
also
to be.
was fucked up. Like
his
what
bike
I
was
think,
so
in my
fucked
opinion,
up.
what happened is he was drunkenly on a ride home and crashed his bike and then went on a tangent because he like threw the bike and fucked up the bike or crashed the bike or something. The wheels were bent on it and he couldn't ride home.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I think it just escalated into a crackhead.
To a full-on like
crackhead situation.
Full crackhead situation.
Full crackhead.
But he had pounded on her door and like tried to open it and it was locked, thankfully. Kelsey, like, he doesn't have a gun or anything, so I told him, like, go get my fucking machete.
I'm like, that has a machete.
Get the machete, like, just make sure it's like in reach. And he had called the cops, and I guess the cops come fucking picked him up because his bike is still in our fucking driveway.
So the cost to come and pick him up then?
That's what I think. I mean, otherwise, wouldn't you come pick up your bike?
No.
I mean, if it was stolen, I probably wouldn't pick it up.
Right.
You think he remembered the morning? Do you think he remembered where his bike was?
I mean,
I guess that's true.
Full on crack
so
addict.
if anyone needs a bike in the...
We're in Canada.
Anyone needs a bike in the Boise area.
I mean, at
We
this
got a
point,
free one for
I would
you.
just donate to the Boise Bicycle Project.
Yeah,
We were
we were actually
That was
talking
our
about that
plan.
the other week.
Which is keep Boise kind.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Keep Boise kind, guys,
Keep
please.
Boise kind.
So we got a program out here. I'm going to go ahead and advocate this because this is a Boise podcast for Boise locals. We got this awesome program out here called the Boise Bike Project. I am a huge advocate for this. I am a member at the Boise Bike Project, actually. And the reason I advocate this is because they take donations from around town and people drop off their bikes. And what they do with these bikes is they part them out, okay? And they part them out for dirt cheap. Like they make bike parts that you buy at the fucking store worth like $2.
Affordable.
Yeah,
Right, like-
literally beyond affordable. Dirt
Beyond
cheap.
yeah,
because they don't need the money. They're just there. Like it's a community supported program. And the really cool thing about this place is they have it's a bike mechanic shop. So they have like 4 fucking ports that you can go in. And if you're a member, anytime you walk in with your bike, and they have an entire bike shop. You can use all the tools. You can use all of the tools. You go at any time, and you can fix your bicycle if you're a member. And if you're not a member, you can pay like a $5 fine, or it's like fucking $6 an hour to use the mechanic shop.
That's so awesome. Like, cause
It cost me $115 to get a
for
tune-up
those
on
of
my
you
bike.
who are listening that don't live in Boise. Boise is a very bike run town.
Don't
Like,
move here.
Very don't.
But don't move here. But like you can ride your bike anywhere. But like don't move here.
Oh, it's such a bike oriented town. Our green belt. So I live
Our greenbelt goes from a lake outside the city near Idaho City
all the way to fucking
to
like
Eagle.
Nampa. It goes.
No,
There's another one in Nampa
Oh,
too. Like, it doesn't
okay.
connect.
They haven't
so
connected
far.
yet, but like they're working on connecting it.
Yeah.
Eventually, it'll go from probably like 4 or 5 cities. I mean,
Exactly.
it's currently over 20 miles. I know that.
If you're
It's
a
awesome.
cyclist in this town, you're a happy motherfucker.
And if you're Casey, who
Fuck you.
fucking punctures a tire every single fucking time he rides his bike.
So okay, quick story for you, Jared. This is a great story for those of
Yeah,
you.
no. I want to hear this.
Please.
So Jared,
tell
you
it,
know me
Casey.
as an avid cycler, right?
Yeah,
You know that brand new
You're
bike?
a fit guy, yeah.
You know that brand new fucking bike that I got, that black and white bike?
The one that was
I've
the
gone
tire
through-
was stolen when we were outside of Kai 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
This
fucking
motherfucker
one.
who left his bike
So-
downtown for 5 days.
So
and he's got his
speaking of the
front tire
Boise Bike
stolen.
Project, I got my fucking rear tire, the one with the chain on it, stolen. Not the fucking front tire that doesn't have a chain around it. Like somebody like scouted my bike and was like, I'm gonna steal this motherfucker's tire, and they did. They stole my fucking back wheel off my tire. Went to the Boise.
100%. I saw the bike afterwards.
Yeah, and it was leaning on the ground, all fucking like defeated and sad.
So sad.
It was so sad, and I rolled up so upset. And long story short, I went to the Boise Bike Project and got my bike. After going to an actual bicycle shop and being told that in order to build a bike for your fucking, or build a rim for your bike, it's going to cost you $250. I was like, my bike cost me $200.
That's more than my bike.
I was like, bro, why the fuck would I spend that? Like, I'd rather just go on Amazon right now and order a whole other bike. Like, what? So my next move was like, well, try Boise Bike Project. And I'd already been there a bunch of times. And so I did. $15 later, I got a whole new setup. They just took care of me, bro. Fucking handled it. And it was the almost exact rim that I had before, but it was black instead of white. You know, cool. Fuck yeah.
Cool. Have your own unique bike, right? Like,
Yeah, it was
Idaho
cool.
is all about.
I still look for that white rim when I go downtown. Don't worry.
I know you do. I still look for it too.
And so long fucking story short, dude, winter hits, I don't ride as much, and you know, I got my DUI. Fucking yeah, whatever. Put that on
Same.
public. Yeah, I got my DUI.
We'll talk about that later.
And so now I can't drive, and now I'm back into cycling, and I was an avid cyclist in Los Angeles. Like that is a place to be a cyclist. You know, that is dangerous. I crashed my bike so many fucking times. I went over the handlebars like fucking twice. I fucking hit parked cars. Like I've
But
crashed.
I feel like that was part of the
the condensed.
allure to it, right? Like you were like, oh, it's kind of dangerous. Like let me do
It was
this.
fun. It was cool.
I
It
know
was
you-
kind
I
of
know
cool.
you're a
I
little-
was
you're
like,
a little reckless. Like,
there was a couple times that I died without even thinking twice about it. I was like, or I almost died without even thinking twice about it. I was like, dude, I literally, like, I am on one of the busiest roads in downtown LA riding a cycle right now. And literally that to me just it was fun. I loved it. And I've gone through like 6-7 bikes, you know, and so I buy this cool brand new bike. My tire gets stolen, and long story short, we get to the winter this year, and for the life of me, dude, I cannot fucking get any luck with my tubes, man. You know why? Think about it this way. You ride a bike, how often do you change the tube on your bike?
Once a year.
Exactly. Like, you get a flat maybe once a fucking year. I've gone through 8 tires in the last week, bro. I'm not even kidding. I am
slime.
serious.
First of all, slime.
No, slime doesn't work.
I had slime
does
tires.
not work.
I went to the bike
tires.
shop and I spent. Okay, let me. Start.
Hey, no. Let's go on a tangent real quick for a second. But we need to come back to the main message.
Real quick, let me finish the story about the bike. This is great. In the course of 1 week, Jared, I found out that not only can I not buy my fucking tubes at Fred Meyer, which it's a 700 bike. It's nothing crazy, but I didn't realize that my rims they have like a decorative rim on it, so the valve on it itself has to be longer. You cannot get these at any bike shop unless it's a specialty bike shop. You have to buy them there. You can't buy them at Fred Meyer. You can't buy them at Walmart.
Correct.
Period.
I have a fixie, so I understand.
During this time, no, you can get Presta valves, you can get Schrader valves, you can get all that. But my rim has a long valve. You can only get those at shops. So
Online, right?
no shops. You can get them at shops. This
like
at
George's?
the time
Like George's?
was when COVID hit.
60 mil.
Yeah, so this gets fucked, dude. This gets real fucked. So you cannot get these fucking anywhere. I can't ride my bike. I just got a DUI. I can't go anywhere. You know? COVID finally ends. I fucking went to Fred Meyer and was like, cool, dude, I'm going to buy a bike tire. This is before I realized I needed the longer one. They were sold out of all 700C bicycle wheels and tires. Everything.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Right
because
when COVID hit. But
I was right during COVID. Oh, me and my bike were best friends,
Yeah.
dude. We were going everywhere.
And then,
together.
so what happens is, Camden calls me one day, hey, dude, let's go on a bike ride. Okay? I was all right, cool, right on. I ride my bike over to his house, barely makes it because my tubes are kind of low, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to just fill them up when I get there. So I fill them up when I get there. I fucking pop one while I'm filling them up. Have an extra one in my bag, so I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. Change the tire out, get it handled, right on, cool. Filling up the back tire because it was a little low too. I break the Schrader valve, right? Realize,
No way.
dude.
Not even breaks it. You snap that motherfucker off.
The valve, literally snapped. It just snaps.
Just gone.
Just gone.
Oh my
literally, he takes
and
and snaps it in half.
And it just breaks. And I'm like, okay, cool. And there's nowhere to find these tires. I've already learned at this point. These tires are not findable. So I'm like, okay, cool. I can't ride my bike for weeks. Bike shops finally started to open up. And since the bike shops have opened back up, Jared, I have gone through 6 bicycle tubes.
Where are you riding?
Listen to this.
No joke.
No. Not
6
even like
bike tubes.
stupid reasons. Like, it's not. I took my bike to a professional bike shop to have the rims checked to make sure there wasn't punctures or like just bad bullshit. He's like, dude, there's nothing wrong with your bike. There's no reason why they're popping, right? Spent $125 at the bike shop to have it. I was like, fuck it, dude. I am not changing another tire. I can't do it anymore.
I kind of did the same thing. I spent like $90 at George's Cycle.
It was totally fine. I was happy to do it just because I had changed the tire on my bike at least 8 times in the last 2 weeks. I was
you
so
were over
it,
right? Yeah.
So over it. Drop $125. Go on I have only ridden on this bike maybe 15 miles since I bought it brand fucking new, bro.
No way.
I'm not even kidding. Go look at the fucking bike. It's
Literally.
There is still the trim from the fucking molding at the factory, like the rubber molding where it's got the fucking flashing.
Yeah.
There's still the flashing on the front. Like on the front of the tire. Not on the sides, on the front.
Is it a rim issue, do you think?
No, I had it checked by a professional. He said there's no problem with your rim. He changed it. Works great. My first ride out, I bought $200 clip shoes and clips for my bike, and I'm so excited to ride it.
I can see them right over here.
Yeah, they're nice. I fucking go out my first ride. I ride to Jim's Alibi, and I'm like, cool, my bike is finally fucking working. Turn around and go back to my house, cut through the parking lot at the fucking gas station on Boise and Geckler.
Yeah.
I had a pothole the size of my mother, bro. Like, this fucking thing was insane. I didn't even see it. Pop both of my fucking tires. And I had an extra tire in my backpack because I knew. I was like, I'm not leaving the house without extra tubes. Like, I'm just not. I only had one tube. I popped both.
So you walked to
I still have a fucked up bike.
What was great about this whole endeavor is Casey called me on his way back to his house and was like, you wouldn't believe what just happened, bro.
This is like after the fifth time.
At this point,
this was after we went on a bike ride and literally
went through 2 tires?
probably every 70 feet We had to stop
'Cause my bike
and
would break.
fix your bike. Either your chain fell off,
Brand new bike, bro.
your tube popped, or
I would buy
something
a new bike
happened.
at this point.
It's cursed. Aubrey said the
his
same thing.
bike
It's
is
a cursed
cursed.
fucking bike.
You need to get a new bike, 100%.
So, bike story to the end. Is there anything, Jared? Like, it's been a great fucking podcast. We've ran it for an hour and 49 minutes. That's a fucking great average of a show.
I just want to like shout out a few places in Boise.
Let's fucking
Like
hear it,
right,
man.
like let's shout out Jim's Alibi. They've
Jim's
always been-
Alibi. Brittany is the bartender on the weekends, and
You can always get a good drink there, a cheap drink, and have a good time, right? Like you're gonna have a good conversation with people.
So Jim's Alibi is the best dive bar in Boise,
Dive bar in Boise.
by my eyes.
Boise Bicycle Project, helping people fix their bikes at super low cost. Let's talk about like some of the restaurants to talk about, like
Amsterdam Lounge.
Amsterdam Lounge, great place for craft cocktail, a good vibe, always.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Kai 75. Yeah, they need a little love right now. We have a little resentment between all the people here that have worked with management. We're
But
gonna
to be
circle
straight,
that.
the best street tacos you can get downtown Boise in a restaurant.
Right, no, delicious. Tito does an amazing job,
It is like, and the reason I say that
and he's
is
so passionate.
so Tito he went to culinary school in Mexico.
Yes.
And he is by far the most passionate chef that in my years of working in the service industry that I have ever worked under. He loves what he does. It's not just a taco to him.
It's
a
not
lifestyle.
money to him either.
It's not just a taco.
He
either,
wants to bring those
you know?
like Mexican flavors to Idaho.
The
Like,
first time I ever tried mole was because of Tito. Oh,
and, oh my god,
God, dude.
yeah, dude, to die for, right? Like we're not negative people about Boise at all.
Yeah.
Right? We love where we're from. We love what we do. Just like all I gotta say is like support local business.
That's all we got to do.
Especially
right
in this
now.
time right now, we may get closed down again.
If you have the opportunity out here to choose a local business over something that you do corporate, over something that you do regularly, that you can choose locally instead, guys, like on the Youngblood podcast, on my name, like all that I ask is that you guys try to do that. Go support Treasure Valley Barbecue. Go do your part. Like, we need this as a community. We barely just got our bars back opened up, and you know
We may get shut down again. right?
exactly. And there, like I said, there was a Hey Penny that got shut down. One of my favorite places to, one of my most important spots to me. Has already shut down permanently. You
Like,
know,
it's not coming back.
it's not. It's not just the owner. Dude, that bar has been there for 20, 30 years, man. Like it's an old bar.
Right. And it's sad to see things that we've grown up with be taken away because of this, right?
But
Like,
low key might be kind of cool to see something else open up in that spot.
right. I hope whoever gets the
So
next,
I hope it's a positive change. you
right,
know?
right.
Hope
Like
Dan
we can
gets
always
some
hope for
money.
the best, but at the same time, like I know it's a little more expensive sometimes to go support local, right? Like, but you're paying for the quality, not anything else.
Quality
Like-
of life is what we have out here, and let's keep it going.
Exactly. And I feel like our producer's got something to say real quick.
I was just gonna say, when you buy local, you're supporting local.
Well, duh.
And
You
we
know,
but like on a deeper
Well, I'm just saying, like when you go to corporate restaurants,
on a
you're
deeper level.
supporting the corporation. You
Sorry,
know,
I had to be a dick because you were.
No,
an
but, like, on a
asshole to
deep-
me.
I'm
even-
just saying.
Even on a
you know?
deeper level, us service industry workers, like we rely on you guys. We rely on people coming through, our regulars, our people
Right.
that we've shown tremendous amounts of respect to, gone out of our way for. Like, we're asking you to come back. Like,
Right.
we're asking you to come.
Keep coming.
Continue
Unless
supporting
you're
us.
sick,
Yeah.
but
and
keep coming
keep
out.
coming in.
If you've been tested, if you've had a good time, you know, and or if you've been tested and you want to come have a good time and you want to support local, please keep coming.
Right. Exactly. I mean, we cannot survive
No.
without you at this point.
We can't.
Like, it's
And-
such a weird world we live in. It's my favorite phrase lately. This world is whack. Like, it's-
whack.
It is so whack right now. Like we're dealing with stuff that we never thought on a like deep level we would be dealing with, and I honestly couldn't keep doing it without the people that I work with, without my friends around here. Like, it's so easy to give up hope.
Right.
It's so easy to just be like, oh, dude, like we're fucked. Like the world's fucked. Because I mean, on a spiritual level, a deep level, right? We're looking at times that people have not been through. I mean, yes, wars, like world wars, like wars and stuff like that. But like,
It's new.
we're dealing with stuff right now that needs to change. We're talking about the protests. We're talking about like the way we handled this virus. We're talking about supporting the people that like actually keep this country going. Like,
Right.
there's like 43 million people on unemployment right now.
And
That-
half of them don't want to go back to work.
Right, because what's the point? They're making more money on unemployment.
Exactly.
Like, we need these people to have hope again because they've given up hope, right?
Something's got to change.
Something has to change. Something has to change fundamentally for us to be able to be like, okay, I want to be a part of this country again. I want to be a part of like the workforce again, because it is so easy to give up.
It is.
But,
Fuck yeah, man.
But if everyone gives up, we're gonna see catastrophic closures across the board, across the United States.
It's gonna be worse than the last fucking.
If we close down again, there will be so many places that disappear.
I don't even think Ted can
I-
bring it back.
I don't think I'll have a job if we close down again.
That's what I'm saying. And Ted's the biggest, one of the two largest bars.
He's been in operation since he was 21 years old, and he's 51 now, so 30 years. 30 years of successful bar operation, continually to stay above board and like make profits.
And you know, like when he goes on a big vacation and stuff,
Right.
He takes a hit. Like he relies on the money that comes
Right,
in.
right. He's not a guy that relies, like he doesn't like have the savings. He doesn't have the backing to like keep his company
who
going.
expected this? You know what I mean?
No one
who
expected this. Right. Like it caught us all off guard. I'm just asking that everyone support local. These corporations will be fine, right? Like they have billions of dollars saved up to
Billions and
billions
billions.
of dollars.
China.
But even look at it this way, like Beijing's starting to close down again.
Right.
They're starting
Are
to,
are they doing closures
Yep.
again in Beijing?
They're starting to limit flights to Beijing because Beijing has been taking a huge hit. Texas just yesterday, 4,400 new cases.
Jesus.
Like
Jesus.
that is substantial. That's more than we
Texas
have.
opened back up too, right? Just like
Yeah.
we did.
That's substantial. That's more than we have in total cases in Idaho. Like, think about all the other people that are like, be kind. Think about everyone else. Everyone else is going through the same stuff. We have no room for racism anymore.
Nope.
There's no room. We're all suffering. Like everyone across the board is trying to figure out where the next paycheck's going to come from, right? Like,
Right.
let's try for the 5 viewers out there right now. let's
I
all
said
band
2.
together.
He gave me 5. All
Yeah,
right.
all right. You know, let's all do our best to like even brighten someone's day, right? Like just be like, hey man, like hope you're doing well. If you
Right.
need anything, let me know.
Just camaraderie.
No, just like being humans, like
Being humans.
like the basic level, right? Like
And keep that going.
keep that going.
Amen, man. Well, guys, this has been episode 16 of the Young Blood Podcast. YOUNGBLOODCAST. Please look it up. And again, don't fucking come at me with this. Oh, I can't find it. It's all one word. Like, not Young Blood, one word. Not podcast, one word. The whole fucking thing. One word, guys. Young Blood Podcast. No spaces. Okay? Cool? Anyways, that being said, Jared, who do you want to see on this podcast next? Call him out.
David Munson.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay. I mean, I would be honored, to be honest, I would be honored if David Munson would be willing to even come on a show like this because, you know, the guy is a very influential member of the community. He has a lot to say.
Very busy.
Oh, God, he's a busy man. And you know what?
Between-
a lot of respect sent his way.
Yes.
He's a phenomenal business owner, business manager, and just a
We
great
haven't always
man.
seen eye to eye, but like I respect the hell out of this dude.
I fucking do, too. Okay, if you're going to say anybody hasn't seen eye to eye with Munson, I haven't seen eye to eye with Munson.
Right.
But I have so much respect for the cat. He's a fucking awesome character. His girlfriend's even more fucking amazing.
She's a hustler, dude. Like
She's a
she's
killer.
making
She's
making the most out of all this. And like, first of all, she started out. I'm just gonna quick shout out to Liz real quick.
Quick shout out to Liz Holiday, baby. Go check out her fucking real estate business. If you need questions,
She
hit me
started
up.
out with nothing, worked in the bars through her way through college, right? Like, and then got her real estate degree, or real estate license. She is now killing it because
yeah, she's awesome, man.
if anyone's ever doubting the service industry, first of all, you meet so many influential people.
Get into a business.
I didn't realize it, but
do both.
Our Boise mayor, has come to Kai 75, and I served her. I didn't realize it. Yeah, no, I didn't realize it. I gave her tacos. Treat everyone how we treat.
Yeah, there's a number day.
Across the board. Yeah, it's another name. Like respect,
Normal day,
right?
no problem. Like,
later on, I saw her on TV, and I was like, no.
oh shit.
Shit, that was our mayor.
Like the day that I had the sports medicine manager for the Los Angeles Dodgers sit
which
at
is
my bar
Casey's favorite team.
for 2.5 hours, sit at my bar, and I still have his email, and he's gonna let me ask for tickets, but I wasn't gonna do it this year because there's no baseball.
Because of Corona.
Exactly.
But
anyways, at an end, Camden, is there anything you want to throw in on this before you end up? Thank you so much for being the production manager of the Youngblood podcast, the producer, the man behind the camera, the man behind the mics, and the man behind the business, other than the guy who actually started the podcast, Camden Sutton. Camden Sutton, guys. Thanks so much for checking in, and we're calling it a night. Goodbye.